Longao, if it were you, between you and the 10-directional cauldron, would you choose yourself or the 10-directional cauldron? Cauldron of 10 directions. To tell the truth, the strength of the 10-direction cauldron was there for all to see, while he was all alone. Given such a choice, no matter who it was, he believed that they would choose the 10-direction cauldron over him. Since you've chosen the 10 cardinal tripod, I'll do the same. Longao didn't say anything. Back then, when the 3 clans came to my Violet Thunder sect for help, although you had the agreement of a year with the Divine Diviner, no matter how you looked at it, you were always at a disadvantage. Longao still didn't say anything. It's not wrong for my sect to kill your dragon sect's disciples, and it's also not wrong for you to assassinate my sect's protector. But the only mistake is that I've already locked onto your aura. Hence, regardless of your death or the fall of my Violet Thunder sect, it's all fate. Fate cannot be changed. Fate? Fate cannot be changed? The Purple Thunder ancestor's words were very profound, because the fate he was talking about was an ethereal thing. Not to mention himself, even the Divine Diviner and the Heavenly Daos didn't know what fate was. Longao, I don't want to be enemies with you, but my sect has already made a mistake. What do you want? At the beginning, Longao had some admiration for the Purple Thunder ancestor. Although they were enemies, his intuition told him that the Purple Thunder ancestor wasn't like Long Tian and the others. Just like what the Purple Thunder ancestor had said, the grudge had already been formed, and it was impossible to let it go just like that. Since this was the case, what should he do? Longao, I have an idea. I wonder if you're willing to give it a try? There's no harm in saying it. Seeing the Purple Thunder ancestor and Longao being so calm, regardless of Yi Tianhua or the 3 elders, all of them found it hard to accept. According to the 4 people's previous thoughts, since the old ancestor had already locked onto Longao's aura, then with the powerful strength of their side, if the 5 of them joined forces, the chances of Longao surviving was almost 0. But what was the result? The Purple Thunder ancestor didn't have the slightest intention to make a move, and since the Purple Thunder ancestor didn't make a move, the 4 of them naturally didn't dare to make a move. After all, in the Purple Thunder sect, there was only one person in charge, and it wasn't Yi Wuyin or Yi Tianhua, but the Purple Thunder ancestor. The 4 of them were extremely unhappy in their hearts, but they didn't dare to say anything. Especially Yi Wuyin. Whenever he thought of the fact that Longao was the culprit behind his grandson's death, Yi Wuyin had the urge to tear Longao apart. But still, if the Purple Thunder ancestor didn't dare to make a move, none of them dared to make a move. Longao, to tell you the truth, I know nothing about what happened in the sect, including the grudge between you and the 3 elders. If I knew, the sect wouldn't have made a move against the dragon sect. I believe you. With regards to the Purple Thunder ancestor's words, Longao didn't have the slightest bit of doubt. Because things had already turned out this way, there was no need for the Purple Thunder ancestor to lie to him. Even if he was afraid of the Divine Diviner's prestige, no matter what, the Purple Thunder ancestor's strength was right there. There was no need for him to curry favor with him. However, Longao still couldn't figure it out. The grudge had already been formed, and it was a grudge of life and death. Since that was the case, why would the Purple Thunder ancestor do this? Could it be that the Purple Thunder ancestor was preparing for a truce? That was impossible. Even if the Purple Thunder ancestor was willing, would the other 4 be willing? Even if the Purple Thunder sect was willing, Longao didn't dare to believe it. He had killed so many people consecutively, anyone would want to take revenge. As though he could guess what Longao was thinking, the Purple Thunder ancestor continued, I've already said it earlier, neither you nor I are in the wrong. What I want to say is, Longao, I'll give you a chance, and you should give the sect a chance as well. As long as you can reach the Purple Thunder Lake, the grudge between us will be written off. From now on, we don't owe each other anything. Even if the 3 elders come looking for trouble, I can guarantee that from today onwards, we won't help them in the slightest. Longao was somewhat surprised, because he didn't expect the Purple Thunder ancestor to be like this. Although in his heart, Longao was very unhappy with the Purple Thunder sect for taking advantage of the situation, he had to admit that the Purple Thunder ancestor was right. Based on his position, no matter what he did, it couldn't be considered wrong. There was nothing wrong with the Purple Thunder sect helping the three elders deal with the Dragon sect, and there was nothing wrong with him assassinating the disciples of the Purple Thunder sect for revenge. Since the Purple Thunder ancestor was willing to resolve the grudge between them, there was no need for him to fight to the death. Chapter 1493. Fighting to the death was not beneficial to him and the Dragon sect. They were already fighting to the death with the three superpowers. Provoking another powerful enemy would only increase the trouble for him and the Dragon sect. No matter what, the Purple Thunder sect was one of the 10 pillars of the 10 directions. Even if they were not as strong as the three superpowers, they were not far off. Purple Thunder Lake? The four of them thought that the old ancestor would give up. Who would have thought that the old ancestor would come up with such a solution? Purple Thunder Lake, forbidden area of the Purple Thunder sect. Others might not know, but the four of them knew clearly. Only Nirvana realm cultivators could casually enter the Purple Thunder Lake. For cultivators below the Nirvana realm, wanting to reach the Purple Thunder Lake was akin to seeking death. The four of them laughed. In their opinion, it was impossible for Longao to reach the Purple Thunder Lake. If Longao agreed, he would die without a doubt. If Longao did not agree, the old ancestor would make a move. Similarly, he would die without a doubt. In other words, no matter if Longao agreed or not, he would die without a doubt. Without waiting for Longao to speak, the Purple Thunder ancestor continued, Longao, the Purple Thunder Lake is a forbidden area of my Purple Thunder sect. Only Nirvana realm cultivators can enter. Other cultivators have no way to reach it. F***CK, if that's the case, wouldn't he be dead for sure? Longao was curious because the Purple Thunder ancestor was obviously trying to get on his good side. Whether it was because of his potential or because of the deterrence of the divine mathematician. Since the Purple Thunder ancestor wanted to resolve this grudge, he wouldn't make things difficult for him. Was there something fishy going on? The four of you leave first. Old ancestor. Hearing the old ancestor's words, the four of them were shocked. Once the four of them left, no one would know what was going on between the old ancestor and Longao. The four of them wanted to see Longao die with their own eyes. I know what I'm doing, Purple Thunder ancestor said coldly, not bothering to speak any more nonsense. Even if the four of them were unwilling to leave, they didn't dare to go against the old ancestor's will. Helpless, the four of them could only turn and leave, disappearing from the spot. Longao, come with me. Longao increasingly felt that the Purple Thunder ancestor did not have the slightest bit of malice towards him. More or less, he heaved a sigh of relief. Without the assistance of the Dragon Seal space, it would be extremely difficult for him to deal with the Violet Thunder sect. However, Longao didn't regret it. Since it was his choice, he had to deal with everything. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao immediately followed. Violet Thunder Peak, halfway up the mountain, in a pavilion. The surrounding environment was elegant and very quiet. Because this pavilion was located at the Purple Thunder ancestor's leisure place, ordinary people could not enter. Inside the pavilion, Longao and Purple Thunder ancestor sat facing each other. The two of them did not look worried at all, but rather like a pair of old friends. Longao was also surprised by this feeling. Longao, I believe that you are already aware of the situation at the Purple Lightning Lake. It's up to you whether you want to go or not. Not giving Longao a chance to speak, the Purple Thunder ancestor continued, even if you don't choose to go to the Purple Lightning Lake, I do not intend to be your enemy. If it was someone else who dared to assassinate the elders and protectors of the Violet Thunder sect, the Purple Thunder ancestor would definitely not let the matter rest. Even if it was the other 9 superpowers, he would still seek an explanation. Only Longao. The reason why the Purple Thunder ancestor was unwilling to be Longao's enemy was because, firstly, Longao was able to cause such a ruckus in the 3 superpowers. Everything that happened before was already enough to show how much potential Longao had. Secondly, the deterrence of the divine mathematician. During the battle at the Sword Sect, the divine mathematician had sided with Longao. This was something that everyone knew. The Purple Thunder ancestor didn't dare to gamble. If he lost, there would be great trouble. In fact, what the Purple Thunder ancestor valued the most was Longao's potential. The deterrence of the divine mathematician was secondary. And because of this, The Purple Thunder ancestor wasn't willing to be enemies with Longao. He would do everything in his power to protect Longao. Longao could already roughly guess what the Purple Thunder ancestor was thinking. Although he still had some doubts in his heart, he chose to believe in the Purple Thunder ancestor. Ancestor. Longao, you and I are friends. There is no need to call me ancestor. If you don't mind, I am a few years older than you. You can call me Big Brother Yi, and I will call you Brother Long. How about it? F***CK, wasn't the Purple Thunder ancestor's goodwill a little too strong? But since the Purple Thunder ancestor was already like this, how could he not agree? Since that's the case, I'll respectfully accept, Big Brother Yi. Haha, good. Brother Long. We feel like old friends at our first meeting. Don't worry, I'll do my best to help you in the future. With the help of the Violet Thunder sect, Longao could finally heave a sigh of relief. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that after killing so many people in the Violet Thunder sect this time around, the Purple Thunder ancestor actually acted like this. Life was hard to predict. Big Brother Yi, I've already decided to head to the Violet Thunder Lake. The Purple Thunder ancestor didn't seem surprised in the slightest. It was as if he had already guessed it. He smiled and continued, I believe Brother Long has already guessed it. Although the journey to the Violet Thunder Lake is filled with dangers, with only a slim chance of survival, Brother Long has already condensed the aura of heaven and earth. As long as you're careful, you'll be able to reach the Violet Thunder Lake. With regards to this point, Longao had already guessed it. Big Brother Yi, could it be that there's something fishy about the Violet Thunder Lake? The Purple Thunder ancestor's countenance was extremely heavy. He helplessly continued, Brother Long. We feel like old friends at our first meeting. I won't hide it from you. As a Nirvana realm cultivator, regardless of whether it's comprehending the heavens and earth or undergoing nirvanic rebirth, do you know what's the most important thing to a Nirvana realm cultivator? Source energy. Longao didn't even think about it. Because as everyone knew, the most important thing to breaking through to the Nirvana realm was source energy. Once a Nirvana realm cultivator devoured source energy, they would be able to break through to the peak of the martial path, becoming an unrivaled existence in the Tianwu continent. Longao didn't know why the Purple Thunder ancestor would suddenly ask such a question. Could it be that the Purple Thunder Lake was related to source energy? You're right. I believe you've already guessed it. Back then, I accidentally discovered the source energy in the Purple Thunder Lake, but I didn't dare to be careless. Thus, I established the Purple Thunder sect and immediately went into seclusion. After so many years, I thought I would be able to obtain the source energy, but who would have thought that after nearly 10,000 years, I still haven't succeeded? Just as expected, Longao was very clear that although all the source energy in the Tianwu continent had been sealed by the heavenly Das, there would always be fish that slipped through the net. The Purple Thunder Lake was one such fish. However, if the Purple Thunder ancestor wanted to obtain the source energy from the Purple Thunder Lake, it wouldn't be an easy matter. Otherwise, after 10,000 years, even with the Purple Thunder ancestor's tyrannical strength, he still hadn't succeeded in obtaining the source energy. Brother Long, if you can smoothly reach the Purple Thunder Lake, I would like you to help me obtain the source energy together. What do you think? Although he wasn't optimistic, Longao didn't refuse, because the Purple Thunder ancestor was a decent person. He said, no problem, as long as I can do it, I will definitely not refuse. P.S. 5 chapters have been delivered, the remaining 5 will be delivered during the day. Chapter 1494. He chatted with the Purple Thunder ancestor for the entire night. The two of them drank until they were drunk. The next day, early in the morning, Longao left the pavilion and went to the back of the Purple Thunder Peak. It was a very secluded place. Brother Long, I've already told you the location of the Purple Thunder Lake. Remember, don't force yourself. If you can't reach it, just return. He nodded. After a night of chatting, Longao truly regarded the Purple Thunder ancestor as a friend. Friend? If other people knew that Longao and Purple Thunder old ancestor could actually become friends, who knows if they would be scared silly? Longao was still all right. Although he had counterattacked a few times, he was still a god king. But what about the Purple Thunder ancestor? The Purple Thunder ancestor was already a super figure 10,000 years ago. Not only was he powerful, but he also founded the Purple Thunder sect. Brother Yi, I'll leave first. Be careful. Longao didn't continue to hesitate. He took a step forward and disappeared. 10,000 years ago, the Purple Thunder ancestor used the power of heaven and earth to seal the Purple Thunder Lake in a space. However, only Nirvana realm cultivators could reach the Purple Thunder Lake. Purple Thunder Hall. Brother, Master, do you think Longao can reach the Purple Thunder Lake? The old ancestor didn't make a move against Longao. This was something that Yi Warren never expected. The revenge of his grandson was right in front of him, but he couldn't do anything. He could only suppress the anger in his heart. He dared not speak out. I also didn't expect the old ancestor to be like this. Yi Tianhua sighed helplessly. The old ancestor's deterrence was there. Whether it was the great elder or him, they couldn't make a decision. If they angered the old ancestor, they wouldn't even know how they died. Old ancestor. Looking at the old ancestor who suddenly appeared, the three immediately stood up and bowed respectfully. Sit. With an indifferent face, the Purple Thunder ancestor said calmly, Third brother. Ancestor, do you have any orders? Yi Warren, who had just been chattering, immediately shut his mouth when he saw the ancestor. After all, those who knew the ancestor knew that he wouldn't get angry easily. Once he got angry, no one would be able to save him. Third brother, from now on, the grudge between you and Longao is written off. Before the three of them could react, Patriarch Purple Thunder continued, not only Patriarch, but the grudges between the Dragon Sect and the Longao will also be written off. From now on, no matter who it is, no one is allowed to touch the Longao or the Dragon Sect. If I find out, I will kill them without mercy. After hearing the old ancestor's decision, the three of them were scared silly. Is this true? If it were any other matter, since Purple Thunder ancestor had already made a decision, then even if the four of them had 10,000 dissatisfaction and unwillingness in their hearts, they would still obediently obey. Only now, especially Yi Warren. Ancestor, I have something to say, but I don't know if I should say it. Even without Yi Warren's words, Purple Thunder ancestor had already guessed it. Seeing that the old ancestor didn't speak, Yi Warren still said, Ancestor, Longao openly killed our Purple Thunder sect's disciple. This hatred has already been formed. If we don't cut the weeds and eliminate the roots, won't we be in trouble when Longao grows up? Cut the weeds and eliminate the roots? Purple Thunder ancestor's voice was very indifferent, without the slightest hint of emotion. Yi Warren seemed to want to say something, but was stopped by Yi Wuyan's eyes. Is the old ancestor angry? Startled, he didn't dare to continue speaking. Yi Warren was still very angry. Longao killed his grandson, but he couldn't take revenge. If this matter was spread out, where would his face go? Ancestor, Longao's success rate in going to the Purple Thunder Lake is less than 1%. Yi Wuyan asked tentatively. The four people present were all Nirvana realm experts. They knew very well how dangerous it was to go to the Purple Thunder Lake. Even if it was a supreme god expert, if one could successfully reach the Purple Thunder Lake out of 10,000 people, it would be a blessing in disguise. However, there was only one thing that Yi Wuyan was worried about, and that was if the great ancestor helped Longao. If that was the case, Longao would be able to reach the Purple Thunder Lake smoothly. Boss, I won't help Longao. His life depends on him. Hearing this, the four people finally felt relieved. As long as the old ancestor didn't help Longao, then the chances of Longao reaching the Purple Thunder Lake smoothly was almost zero. Longao is going to the Purple Thunder Lake. I won't help, but after this matter, as long as Longao can reach the Purple Thunder Lake smoothly, the grudge between us will be written off. The four people didn't believe that Longao could reach the Purple Thunder Lake, so they all nodded in agreement. The four of you are too muddle-headed. Please enlighten us, old ancestor. The four people's hearts skipped a beat. What did the old ancestor mean? Was the old ancestor really angry? During the Battle of the Sword Sect, the divine mathematician appeared and sided with Longao. This in itself shows that the relationship between Longao and the divine mathematician is not simple. Tian, have you ever thought that if you can't kill Longao and destroy the Dragon Sect, what will happen to my Purple Thunder Sect when they grow? Old Ancestor, the Martial Artists Alliance, the Long family, and the Wan Shou sect came to us together. If we don't deal with Longao and the Dragon sect, wouldn't we be provoking the three of them? Between the three superpowers and Longao, if they had to choose, the four of them would choose the three superpowers without hesitation and not the Longao. Not to mention the four of them, no matter who it was, they would make the same choice. Because of this, the four of them didn't think that they had made the wrong choice. The Purple Thunder Ancestor also felt a deep sense of helplessness. If it was someone else, this choice wouldn't be wrong. Only the Longao was the biggest variable. I have already become friends with Longao. Without further ado, the Purple Thunder Ancestor's silhouette suddenly disappeared. The four of them looked at each other. A trace of shock could be seen in each other's eyes. What did the old ancestor mean? Become friends? Longao killed the disciples of the Purple Thunder sect one after another, and even killed Yifeng. According to normal circumstances, the old ancestor and the Purple Thunder sect should be enemies with Longao. But what was the result? The four of them had never imagined that the old ancestor would become friends with Longao. This also meant that from now on, they couldn't continue to deal with Longao. Were they willing? Unwilling? Yi Wuren's heart was filled with endless unwillingness. If he didn't kill Longao, he wouldn't be a human anymore. But since the old ancestor had spoken, if he continued to deal with Longao, wouldn't that make him an enemy of the old ancestor? Big brother. Waving his hand, Yi Wutian stopped Yi Wuren and said, "This matter ends here. From now on, no matter who it is, no one is allowed to deal with Longao and the Dragon sect. Those who violate this order will be killed without mercy." Third brother, that's all I've said. You're on your own now. Author's note. The 6th chapter has been delivered. I stayed up late last night and caught a cold in the morning. I just woke up after a day of sleep. The remaining 4 chapters will be written by Little 9 as soon as possible. Everyone, please forgive me. Those who have votes can vote for Longao. Little 9 thanks you. Chapter 1495. Yi Wuren was the only one left in the Purple Thunder Hall. His fists were clenched tightly, and his face was extremely gloomy. His enemy was right in front of him, but he couldn't take revenge. Anger. Unwillingness. Longao, even if the old ancestor protects you, I will tear you into pieces. Yi Wuren couldn't go against the old ancestor's wishes just for a grandson. However, if this matter wasn't resolved, he wouldn't be able to get over it. In a swamp, there was no one around. According to the information given by the Purple Thunder Ancestor, it would take about 6 hours to get to the Purple Thunder Lake. Don't underestimate 6 hours. The journey was full of danger. If he was careless, he would immediately fall into an irrecoverable situation. Standing in the same place and looking at the swamp in front of him, Longao didn't dare to act rashly. Black fog lingered, and the aura spread out. Divine King Realm? At this moment, a series of surprised cries came from all around. Then, a gigantic monster the size of a small mountain appeared. Even the surrounding swamp began to tumble like boiling water. Mountain-cleaving bull, a divine beast at the peak of the Emperor God realm. The mountain-cleaving bull was placed in the Purple Thunder space by the Purple Thunder Ancestor. It was to stop any warriors below the Nirvana realm. A divine beast at the peak of the Emperor God realm. Unless a Nirvana realm warrior came in person, even a divine beast at the peak of the Emperor God realm might not be a match for the divine beast. Who are you? Longao. Do you know that those below the Nirvana realm are not allowed to step into the Purple Thunder space? No warriors below the Nirvana realm were allowed to step into the Purple Thunder space. How could Longao not know this? Senior, please make way. Unless it was a last resort, Longao absolutely didn't want to fight to the death with the mountain-cleaving bull. Although Longao was very confident in his own strength, he was still very self-aware. With his current strength, even if he used his trump card, he might not be a match for the mountain-cleaving bull. He was determined to get the Purple Thunder Lake. Just you? Boy, I can make way, but you have to defeat me first. Okay. This battle was unavoidable. Since that was the case, there was no need for him to speak any more nonsense. Longao did not choose to be passive. Instead, he chose to take the initiative and attack. Using spatial teleportation, Longao's body suddenly disappeared. The mountain-cleaving bull's eyes narrowed. It hadn't expected Longao to suddenly disappear. However, this was still the swamp, the mountain-cleaving bull's territory. Confined. After releasing a level 4 divine domain, the mountain-cleaving bull possessed its own special ability, the spatial shackles. As for the time-sure kill technique, Longao also didn't dare to use it. The reason was very simple. The mountain-cleaving barbaric bull's cultivation was much higher than his. Once he forcefully used the time-sure kill technique, the consequences would be obvious. Boom. In a moment of carelessness, Longao was fiercely struck by the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull. Bursts of pain came from his chest. Fortunately, he had the black tortoise battle armor protecting his body. Otherwise, just this one attack would have been enough to take his life. The mountain-cleaving barbaric bull seemed to be very shocked that it didn't die from this one attack. That was because it had absolute confidence in its own attack power. Looking at the unscathed youth in front of it, the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull was dumbfounded. "Brad, just who are you? Why does a divine beast have the black tortoise battle armor?" The mountain-cleaving barbaric bull had guessed it. Longao was very shocked, but he was very calm. He said, "Senior, if you move aside, I can tell you everything you want to know. Brat, I am the guardian of the purple lightning space. Unless I die in battle, I will not move aside." Hearing the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull's words, Longao was not the slightest bit angry. Instead, he somewhat admired the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull before him. Only death in battle would it not move aside. If he were to bring the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull back to the sect, such a guardian would be the best choice. Longao inwardly smiled. After all, this matter was not very likely. Even if there was a chance, he wouldn't do it. No matter what, he and the purple lightning ancestor were friends. How could he casually take away a friend's things? He took a deep breath. Wanting to defeat the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull with his current strength was practically impossible. If he couldn't even pass the first trial of the purple lightning space, then how would he face the following dangers? Therefore, he had to defeat the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull and smoothly pass through this trial. Otherwise, everything would be for naught. P.S. Chapter 7 Delivery. Chapter 1496. The Dragon Race's Forbidden Land. Within the draconic mystic realm, the black demon stood quietly in the dark space and looked around. His face was full of vicissitudes. "Hayamo, I want to ask you for a favor in 3 years." Hayamo was surprised to see Master God Diviner appear in front of him. He didn't know what Master God Diviner would ask of him. "Tell me." Hayamo didn't immediately refuse. If he had broken the seal and reached his peak, he might have ignored Master God Diviner. But now, he didn't have that ability. 3 years from now, the weak space will be damaged. If we can't fix it, the Martial Heaven continent will be destroyed. So it was this. Hayamo smiled. "Master God Diviner, I'm very curious. What does the Martial Heaven continent being in danger have to do with me?" Before Master God Diviner could reply, Hayamo continued, "Master God Diviner, I believe you know that once the weak space opens, it might not be a bad thing for me." Master God Diviner didn't show the slightest anger. "Hayamo, you're right. Once the weak space opens, it might not be a bad thing for you. But you have to remember that once your whereabouts are discovered, anyone can easily devour you. At that time, I won't do anything." Black Demon's face turned gloomy when he heard the godly mathematician's words. "Master God Diviner, are you threatening me? So what if I'm threatening you?" Hamo's expression grew darker and darker. Master God Diviner truly did have the ability to threaten him. With Master God Diviner's strength and his current situation, he could devour him in a matter of minutes. "What do you want me to do?" In the end, Hayamo chose to compromise. If this matter turned sour, it wouldn't benefit him in the slightest. Hayamo was a smart person. He wouldn't casually put himself in a situation where he couldn't recover. "It's very simple. 3 years from now, you'll enter the weak space with me. No matter what, you have to stabilize it. Once the seal opens, it won't benefit anyone, including you and me. I promise you." Hayamo suddenly thought of something and said, "Master God Diviner, Is Longao one of your candidates? Master God Diviner didn't hide anything. He nodded. According to my senses, if I'm not wrong, he should be the reincarnation of an expert. He turned around abruptly. The God Diviner's eyes lit up as he asked, "How did you know?" The godly mathematician was well aware of what it meant to return to the clan. Master God Diviner, when Longao came here, I saw him. Are you sure? I'm sure. So according to my guess, Longao should be that person's reincarnation. However, whether or not he has the qualifications to inherit the legacy will depend on Longao's luck. Master God Diviner knew that Black Devil had no reason to lie to him. Clairvoyant, what are you going to do? I don't know. He didn't know? Black Demon was stunned for a moment before he let out a deep sigh. The Lewin clan was the most powerful clan in the world. Countless years ago, the Lewin clan suddenly disappeared. As for the reason for their disappearance, no one knew. Black Demon, the matter of returning to the clan can be big or small. You should be very clear about it. Don't mention this to anyone. Not giving Black Demon any chance to speak, the godly mathematician's figure suddenly disappeared. Outer Sea. In the Crystal Palace. Master God Diviner quietly sat in the Crystal Palace, lost in thought. The God Diviner had never imagined that Longao had come from the Lewin clan. A tiny continent like the Martial Heaven continent actually had a reincarnated expert from the Lewin clan. If the Black Devil hadn't personally said it, the God Diviner would never have believed it. Longao, I hope you are the greatest variable. Otherwise, you won't even have the chance to reincarnate. Purple lightning space. Longao icily looked at the mountain-cleaving bull. If the enemy didn't move, he wouldn't move. After all, he didn't have the slightest confidence in being able to defeat this bull. The mountain-cleaving bull was too powerful, and it also had the ability to lock down space. Brat, seeing that you're not bad, I'll let you off. Go back the way you came, or you'll die. Go back the way he came? Could he really go back the way he came? The reason he had entered the purple lightning space was to prove to Yi Tianhua and the others that although he had become friends with the purple lightning patriarch and their enmity had been written off, the purple lightning sect didn't belong to the purple lightning patriarch alone. Furthermore, according to the purple lightning patriarch, if he could smoothly reach the purple lightning lake, it would be a great help to his cultivation base. Senior, please advise me. All right. The mountain-cleaving bull seemed to like Longao a lot. Otherwise, it wouldn't have tried to persuade him to leave. In the end, the mountain-cleaving bull had taken a fancy to Longao's innate divine ability, Dragon Roar. The moment the Dragon Roar rang out, the surrounding space was locked down. The mountain-cleaving savage bull didn't care at all, because the opponent's innate ability was just child's play in front of its spatial shackles. However, the mountain-cleaving savage bull wanted to see if this human had any other abilities. Time sure kill technique. He had to go all out. At the last moment, Longao decided to use his sure kill technique, time reversal and time advance. One after the other, Longao's speed had increased by 3 times, while the mountain-cleaving bull's speed had decreased by 3 times. What kind of concept was that? If Longao had been prepared, due to the difference in their realms, once he used his sure kill technique, it was very likely he would have been devoured. However, the mountain-cleaving bull was the same as everyone else. It had never imagined that Longao could change the flow of time. No one in the Martial Heaven continent possessed this kind of time martial skill. Even the heavenly Daos didn't know if they possessed it. Time martial skill? However, it was already too late for the mountain-cleaving bull to react. Longao didn't plan to fight the mountain-cleaving bull head-on. After all, the gap between their realms couldn't be bridged by other things. Moreover, he didn't want to fight to the death with the mountain-cleaving bull. Using his sure kill technique, Longao's speed soared to the extreme. After a few spatial teleportations, Longao had already shaken off the mountain-cleaving bull. His figure flickered and disappeared without a trace. The mountain-cleaving barbaric bull didn't give chase. Based on the mountain-cleaving barbaric bull's speed and spatial imprisonment, if it insisted on giving chase, no one could say for sure whether Longao would be able to leave. However, it didn't chase. In truth, in its eyes, it also didn't want to kill Longao. Otherwise, Why wouldn't it attack when it had so many opportunities? The mountain-cleaving bull was pleasantly surprised that it had an innate divine ability. If it hadn't become a divine beast of the Violet Thunder sect, it would have very likely left with Longao. Longao would never have thought that the reason he had been able to escape this calamity was because of his innate divine ability. Author's note: the 8th chapter has been delivered. My cold is a bit serious. I clench my teeth and persevere. My speed is a bit slow. Everyone, please forgive me. Chapter 1497. Many thanks, Senior. Longao's voice came from afar. Stinking brat. Shaking his head helplessly, the mountain-cleaving bull's expression changed, and he reached out to receive the bottle. Dragon blood. Looking at the bottle of dragon blood in his hand, the mountain-cleaving bull was astonished. He never thought that Qinlai would give him a bottle of dragon blood. But after thinking about it, he was relieved. Qinlai had an innate ability. Without a doubt, he must be a disciple of a Long family. The mountain-cleaving bull couldn't understand. This was the Purple Thunder sect. Why would a disciple of a Long family appear here? The Purple Thunder sect and Long family were both part of the 10 factions. Even if the two factions didn't fight to the death, they wouldn't be on such good terms. Ordinary disciples of the Purple Thunder sect couldn't even enter the Purple Thunder space, not to mention outsiders. There was no need to worry about these things. The mountain-cleaving bull was very clear what this bottle of dragon blood meant to him. Smoothly leaving the swamp, Longao let out a long sigh of relief. Just as he left the swamp, Longao stepped into a valley. Before Longao could react, an endless amount of heaven and earth pressure pressed down on him from all directions. In the Purple Thunder space, unless one was a Nirvana realm cultivator, no one could enter the Purple Thunder Lake. The reason was simple. The suppression of heaven and earth pressure was the second trial of the Purple Thunder space. Others might fear the heaven and earth pressure, but Longao didn't. Longao had already condensed the heaven and earth pressure. He could choose to ignore it. The heaven and earth pressure circulated, but Longao was like a mountain, motionless. I've already passed 2 trials, 3 more and I'll be able to reach the Purple Thunder Lake. The 5 trials of the Purple Thunder space had to be smoothly passed before one could reach the Purple Thunder Lake. Without staying in the valley any longer, Longao took a big stride and left directly. In the blink of an eye, he had already disappeared without a trace. The 3rd trial of the Purple Thunder space, Life and Death Bridge. 2 bridges appeared in front of Longao. One was completely white, and the other was completely black. The white bridge was the Life Bridge, and the black bridge was the Death Bridge. As the name implied, it was the Life and Death Bridge. Entering the Purple Thunder space this time, the Purple Thunder ancestor didn't warn him. As for whether he should choose the Life Bridge or Death Bridge, he didn't know. At this moment of life and death, Big Brother, if you want to pass smoothly, then choose the Life Bridge. With your strength, there won't be any problems. Hearing Longming's words, Longao was very curious. What did Longming mean by that? Longming, where's the Bridge of Death? Dead Bridge. Longming looked like he wanted to say something but hesitated, which made Longao feel extremely pained. Longming, speak. Big Brother, the Life and Death Bridge. I can sense a terrifying aura from the Death Bridge. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a powerful black divine beast in the Death Bridge. As for the rest, I don't know. If Big Brother enters it, he will most likely die. If that was the case, there was no doubt that he would choose the Life Bridge and not the Death Bridge. Could there be something fishy about Longming acting like this? Longming, you and I are brothers. If you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to beat around the bush. Big Brother, although the Bridge of Death is fraught with danger, it's also filled with fortuitous encounters. Big Brother, your cultivation has already reached peak God King. If you don't encounter any fortuitous encounters, who knows how long it'll take for you to break through normally? Longao already knew what Longming meant. Just like what Longming said, he had already broken through to the God King realm. If he wanted to break through the bottleneck and reach the God Emperor realm, who knew how long it'd take? Entering the Purple Lightning space this time, other than turning hostility into friendship with the Purple Thunder sect, The most important thing was to obtain fortuitous encounters and break through to the God Emperor realm. The life and death bridge was a choice between life and death. Should he choose the life bridge or the death bridge? Long Ming had already said that the life bridge was easy to cross. Although the death bridge was fraught with danger, there were endless fortuitous encounters. Big brother, what's your choice? Death bridge? Big brother, I've already decided. Longao was very clear that there was no such thing as a free lunch in the world, and there was no such thing as a pie falling from the sky. If he wanted to quickly break through his cultivation, then danger was unavoidable. In a year's time, even if he couldn't break through to the Nirvana realm, he had to reach peak God Emperor realm. Only then would he have the strength to protect himself. The death bridge was his chance. He couldn't let it go. Long Ming wasn't surprised because he had already guessed that his big brother would make such a choice. He was very clear about his big brother's character. Once he decided on something, he wouldn't change his mind under normal circumstances. Since he had already made his decision, Longao didn't continue to hesitate. With one step, Longao had already arrived on the death bridge. He took one step after another, and each step was very careful. He was very alert. The entire death bridge was not too long. After walking for a few hundred steps, he had already arrived on the other side. The entire space was pitch black. If an ordinary person entered, they wouldn't be able to see clearly. Longao's cultivation was already at the God King realm, so there wasn't any problem for him to see within 100 meters. The surroundings were filled with weeds and rocks. There were even more corpses lying around. There was a strange aura that seeped into one's body and devoured one's soul. It could even devour one's flesh and blood. If one wasn't careful, they might really be killed. Seemed like the Purple Thunder Old Master was right. Many people had entered the Purple Thunder space, but few could leave it alive. Seemed like many people had died at the death bridge as well. Otherwise, where did all these corpses come from? Big brother, you must be careful. The cultivation state of this god beast is really strong. More importantly, this space seems to be, before Long Ming could finish his words, a sinister gust of wind rang out in the dark space. That's right, it was the sound of wind. For a gust of wind to ring out in this place at this time, it was weird that there wasn't any wind at all. The more it was like this, the more Longao didn't dare to be careless. Another human has entered. Ha ha ha, I can eat again. The sound of the wind was getting stronger and stronger. Not only that, black lights suddenly appeared like sharp swords, shooting from all directions. As the target of the attack, Longao was right in the middle. Even if he wanted to avoid it, it was a little too late to do so. Bam bam bam. Bam bam bam. The black light continued to attack Longao's body. With the protection of the black tortoise armor, Longao was not killed directly. Even so, Longao still felt unbearable pain, as if his heart was being drilled. What a terrifying attack power. If this continued, even if he had the protection of the black tortoise armor, he would still die without a doubt. How should he deal with this? Big brother, I'm sorry. I've harmed you. Longao forcefully sealed Long Ming and Long Chong. He couldn't let these two fellas leave his arms. Ever since the reincarnation doppelganger left the dragon seal in the Sky Martial Forest, these two fellas had moved from the dragon seal space to Longao's arms. P.S. Chapter 9 delivered. Persevere. Persevere. There's still one last chapter. If he was not careful, he would fall into eternal damnation. After leaving the space of the wordless heavenly book, Longao looked around and found that the dark light had disappeared. The bones on the ground did not move at all. The same went for the rocks and grass. He was very surprised because according to the fluctuation just now, these bones and rocks should have disappeared. But what was the result? The more it was like this, the more careful Longao became. He did not dare to be careless. According to Long Ming's senses, there was a very powerful divine beast in the Death Bridge. As for what level it was, he still did not know. With every step, Longao had to sense it. However, after walking for a long time, he still did not feel the slightest flow of aura. Could it be that Long Ming had sensed wrongly? Human, you actually dare to devour my power. Very good, very good. At this time, there was a burst of cold laughter. Longao was shocked. He was almost certain that the divine beast in the Death Bridge was not a supreme divine beast, but a powerful nirvana divine beast. In front of Longao, an incomparably huge monster slowly walked out of the darkness. Looking at it, Longao was a bit dumbfounded. That was because the huge monster in front of him was not a divine beast, but a divine dragon. Its entire body was golden and it had 9 claws. Could this be the legendary 9-clawed golden dragon? P.S. My cold is too serious. My body is too soft. I just got better. Tonight, I will write another 3,000 words. Everyone, please forgive me. Chapter 1499. 9-clawed golden dragon. Within the dragon race, the primordial divine dragon was the #1 divine dragon. He was also the ancestor who established the dragon race. Now that the primordial divine dragon was born, the #2 divine dragon was the 9 firmaments divine dragon, the patriarch of the dragon race. But in the legends, after the primordial divine dragon established the dragon race, a variant divine dragon appeared. It was none other than the 9-clawed golden dragon. The 9-clawed golden dragon's strength was comparable to the primordial divine dragon. 10,000 years ago, the primordial divine dragon and the 9-clawed golden dragon battled for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, the 9-clawed golden dragon lost to the primordial divine dragon. But even so, the 9-clawed golden dragon didn't admit defeat. After the battle, the 9-clawed golden dragon was hailed as the #2 divine dragon of the dragon race. Helpless, the 9-clawed golden dragon wasn't convinced and directly left the dragon race. The primordial divine dragon and the dragon race were also helpless. For such a powerful member to leave, it was a huge blow to the dragon race. Looking at the 9-clawed golden dragon in front of him, Longao was dumbfounded. He never thought that the legendary 9-clawed golden dragon would appear here. 9-clawed golden dragon? Why would a 9-clawed golden dragon appear here? This was the Purple Thunder sect. Longao didn't dare to imagine what would happen if the Long family knew about this. What would the Long family think? Ha ha ha, so there are still people who recognize me. Not bad, not bad. Longao still couldn't figure out one thing. The 9-clawed golden dragon didn't possess the energy of darkness. But the current situation was too confusing. What was going on? Human, are you wondering why I, a dignified 9-clawed golden dragon, would possess the energy of darkness? That's right. Without hiding anything, Longao was indeed curious. Energy of darkness. Bullshit energy of darkness. The energy here is the energy of destruction. Otherwise, the Purple Thunder sect wouldn't have sealed me for 10,000 years. F***CK regarding the matter of the Violet Thunder sect sealing the 9-clawed golden dragon. Longao was certain that other than himself and a handful of people from the Violet Thunder sect, no one else knew about it, including the Long clan. Big Brother Purple Thunder, you have great methods and great boldness. Human, cut the crap. Since you dare to trespass into my forbidden area, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Before the 9-clawed golden dragon could make a move, Longao had already used his innate ability, Dragon Roar. As the dragon roar resounded, the surrounding space began to confine. However, with the 9-clawed golden dragon's strength, there was no way its innate ability could confine space. Innate divine ability? Break? The flow of space around them was instantly broken. For the 9-clawed golden dragon, this seemed to be a normal thing. After all, the 9-clawed golden dragon's strength was obvious. He wasn't surprised at all because Longao had already guessed the result. You are from the Long clan? That's right. Retreating in order to advance. Although the 9-clawed golden dragon and the primordial divine dragon weren't on good terms, Longao wanted to take a gamble. He wanted to bet that the 9-clawed golden dragon still hadn't forgotten about the dragon race. No matter what, the 9-clawed golden dragon didn't know about the grudge between him and the dragon race. Since this was the case, why not give it a try? After all, the chances of him dying in a normal battle were too high. Innate divine ability, spatial confinement. Back then, Long Tian used this ability to dominate the world. Very good. I really didn't expect that there would be someone in the Long family who could awaken the same innate divine ability. Brat, aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? Longao was very clear on the nine-clawed golden dragon's meaning. He laughed. Senior, the grudge between you and the primordial divine dragon is known by everyone under the heavens. Your grudge has nothing to do with the Long family or the dragon race. No matter what, Senior is the ancestor of the dragon race. Since this is the case, why should I be afraid? Ha ha ha, well said, well said. The nine-clawed golden dragon seemed to be very happy. He laughed wildly for a few minutes before gradually stopping. He then said, Brat, seeing that you're a disciple of the Long family, I'll let you go. I can also give you an opportunity. How about it? Thank you, Senior. He had won the bet. As for the opportunity given by the nine-clawed golden dragon, there was almost no need to ask. He was excited just thinking about it. Let me tell you a story first. Half an hour later, after Longao finished listening, he also sighed endlessly. 10,000 years ago, the primordial divine dragon and the nine-clawed golden dragon battled. In the end, the nine-clawed golden dragon was defeated and left the dragon race. However, the nine-clawed golden dragon did not admit defeat. He swore that he would defeat the primordial divine dragon and become the #1 divine dragon of the dragon race. It was because of this that the nine-clawed golden dragon cultivated diligently every day. One day, the nine-clawed golden dragon challenged Yizile, the purple thunder ancestor. The two made a bet. If Yizile lost, he would immediately contribute his soul. If the nine-clawed golden dragon lost, he would willingly be sealed by Yizile for 1,000 years. If the purple thunder sect was in trouble, the nine-clawed golden dragon would lend a helping hand. According to normal strength, Yizile might not be able to defeat the nine-clawed golden dragon. But who would have known that Yizile came prepared? He borrowed the power of the purple thunder lake to defeat the nine-clawed golden dragon. As the saying goes, the winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. The nine-clawed golden dragon did not act shamelessly. Even if he was unwilling, he was still sealed by Yizile. According to the agreement, the nine-clawed golden dragon could break the seal and leave after 1,000 years. But what was the result? 1,000 years later, Yizile did not keep his promise. Not only that, it was unknown where Yizile chose to seal the nine-clawed golden dragon, but after 1,000 years of nurturing, it actually nurtured the power of destruction. Even with the strength of the nine-clawed golden dragon, it was unable to break the seal. In the blink of an eye, 10,000 years had passed. The power of destruction grew stronger and stronger, and the seal grew stronger and stronger. The chances of the nine-clawed golden dragon breaking the seal also grew smaller and smaller. Was the purple thunder ancestor wrong? Maybe if others heard this story, they would definitely curse the purple thunder ancestor for not keeping his promise. But Longao did not think so. The winner is the king. The loser is the bandit. Who asked the nine-clawed golden dragon to be careless? A loss is a loss. Since it was careless, it had to pay the price. It could not blame anyone for this, especially not the purple thunder ancestor. Longao certainly would not say so. If he said so, not to mention obtaining an opportunity, it was unknown whether he could leave this place alive. Boy, after 10,000 years of research, although I am still unable to break the seal of destruction, I have a way to transmit the power of destruction into your body, thus changing your physique. I can guarantee that once you have the power of destruction, even if you are stronger than yourself, it will be a piece of cake. Longao had a general understanding of the power of destruction. The power of destruction was one of the most powerful forces in the world. Such a temptation was simply impossible for Longao to resist. However, Longao was very clear about one thing, and that was that there was no free lunch in the world. The nine-clawed golden dragon would not help him for no reason. Senior, what do you want me to do? Smart people. I like to talk to smart people. Boy, my condition is very simple. As long as you have the power of destruction, then you can help me break the seal. At that time, I will certainly not treat you unfairly. How about it? No problem. Longao did not even think about it and directly agreed. There's no time to lose. Let's leave and begin. Long Ao was almost certain that the power of darkness that Long Ming had just swallowed was the so-called power of destruction. If that was the case, then it seemed that Long Ming's physique was very unusual. At the very least, it could withstand the power of destruction. As for himself, it was impossible for him to withstand the power of destruction. If the nine-clawed golden dragon insisted on doing so, not only would it not be able to help him, it would even harm him. Long Ao was not a fool. He was very clear about the nine-clawed golden dragon's scheme. The next moment, a grayish-black power suddenly appeared around Long Ao. It was the so-called power of destruction. Before Long Ao could react, the surrounding power of destruction had already begun to madly enter Long Ao's body and corrode his entire body. Just as Long Ao had guessed, once the power of destruction invaded his body, he would undoubtedly die. Of course, Long Ao would not devour the power of destruction himself. He did not want to die, and he could not die. However, under such circumstances, he could not provoke the nine-clawed golden dragon. After thinking about it, Long Ao thought of a way, and that was to transfer all the power of destruction that entered his body from the surroundings to Long Ming. If it was transferred, wouldn't Long Ming be able to possess the power of destruction by devouring the power of destruction? Even if you beat the nine-clawed golden dragon to death, he would never have thought that his plan would be seen through by Long Ao and successfully help Long Ming condense the power of destruction. This time, the devouring took a longer time. It took him a full day and night to finish. Long Ao could not wait to ask, "Long Ming, how is it?" "Big brother, even my body can't withstand so much power of destruction at once. But don't worry, big brother. This power of destruction is very helpful to my cultivation. If nothing goes wrong, I will possess the power of destruction after I've completely refined it. At that time, I won't even need to worry about ultimate gods." Hearing this, Long Ao was overjoyed. Just as he had guessed, with Long Ming's physique, devouring the power of destruction was not a problem at all. On the contrary, it would be helpful to his cultivation, thus condensing the so-called power of destruction. It was a pleasant surprise. It seemed that he had made the right choice in choosing the bridge of death. Indeed, danger and opportunity coexisted. Without danger, where would the opportunity come from? "Thank you for your help, Senior." He seemed to be a little surprised. Could it be that the other party had really condensed the power of destruction? Impossible. The nine-clawed golden dragon did not believe that Long Ao could possess the power of destruction. He was only helping Long Ao temporarily. Once Long Ao helped him break the seal, he would no longer care about Long Ao's life. As for whether Long Ao was dead or alive, there was almost no need to guess. Long Ao would definitely die after being devoured by the power of destruction. Suppressing the curiosity in his heart, the nine-clawed golden dragon said with a smile, "Boy, this is your opportunity. If you help me break the seal now, I will help you break through to the Nirvana realm. How about it?" Chapter 1500. Nonsense. Lying through his teeth without blushing. The nine-clawed golden dragon was truly shameless. He obviously wanted to make use of Huang Xiaolong, yet he made it sound so dignified. The nine-clawed golden dragon probably didn't care about Huang Xiaolong's life or death. If one didn't have the destruction physique, there would only be one outcome for the destruction energy to enter his body. He would become a tool of destruction. The nine-clawed golden dragon never thought of helping Huang Xiaolong. Regarding this point, Long Ao could almost be sure. The nine-clawed golden dragon only had one goal in mind. He wanted Huang Xiaolong to break the seal and help him leave. Huang Xiaolong decided to beat him at his own game. "Senior, what should I do next?" Although he knew that the nine-clawed golden dragon wanted to make use of him, Long Ao didn't want to lose face. The reason was simple. Long Ao knew his own strength. Even if he used all kinds of trump cards, he wouldn't be a match for the nine-clawed golden dragon. Fighting force with force would only result in death. "Brat, you've already devoured 1/3 of the destruction energy here. I want to use you as the center to attract all the destruction energy here. When the time comes, I'll break the seal and leave." So that's how it is. Long Ao cursed in his heart. However, things had already reached this point. Longao could only accept it helplessly. The nine-clawed golden dragon didn't even wait for a second. He immediately arranged a strange pattern. Longao stood in the strange pattern. In the next moment, the destruction energy around him started to revolve crazily. If this continued, he would die without a doubt. What should he do? Brat, even if you die, I'll send your soul into the cycle of reincarnation. Rest in peace. There wasn't the slightest surprise or anger. As for the nine-clawed golden dragon's words, Longao didn't believe it at all. Sending his soul into the cycle of reincarnation? Would the nine-clawed golden dragon be so kind? Seeing that Longao didn't say anything, the nine-clawed golden dragon smiled. His heart was filled with endless excitement. After being sealed for 10,000 years, the nine-clawed golden dragon couldn't wait to leave. The first thing he would do after leaving was to take revenge and destroy the Purple Thunder sect. In the strange pattern, as the destruction energy revolved faster and faster, Longao's figure disappeared, swallowed by the destruction energy. No one knew if he was alive or dead. At the end of the bridge, Longao successfully left the bridge of death and heaved a sigh of relief. Luring the tiger away from the mountain, Longao was extremely clearly aware that it was impossible for him to resist the energy of destruction with his own strength, and he would die for sure. As a result, Longming replaced Longao and continued to absorb the destructive power around him. This way, he could kill two birds with one stone. By devouring the power of destruction, not only could the dark dragon continue to increase its strength, it could also divert the attention of the nine-clawed golden dragon. When the time came, with the dark dragon devouring the power of destruction, it would be a matter of minutes for it to escape. However, Longming did not persist for long. Longming had already devoured a lot of the power of destruction. If he continued to devour, even Longming would not be able to withstand it. Not only that, if Longming continued to devour the power of destruction, it would give the nine-clawed golden dragon a chance. If the nine-clawed golden dragon left the seal, Big Brother Purple Thunder would be in big trouble. No matter what, the nine-clawed golden dragon's strength was obvious. About 5 minutes. Longming let out a tiger roar and his huge body rose up. Before the nine-clawed golden dragon could react, Longming's figure had already disappeared without a trace. What had happened? He was dumbfounded. Looking at the disappearing figure, the nine-clawed golden dragon seemed to have guessed something. He was shocked and roared angrily, "You want to leave? It's not that easy." The nine-clawed golden dragon could clearly sense the opponent's strength. He was only in the divine emperor realm. Presumptuous. The nine-clawed golden dragon was completely dumbfounded after his attack failed. He had never thought that he could not make the opponent stay. Was this true? He had full confidence in his strength. If Longao left, how could he break the seal? For thousands of years, the nine-clawed golden dragon had tried countless times and found countless scapegoats. However, there was no doubt that no one could withstand the devouring of the power of destruction. Not to mention devouring so much power of destruction, it was unknown if he could even devour 1/10 of the power of destruction. Anger. Endless anger. In the current situation, what could he do even if he was angry? If it was the previous Longming, he would not have been able to escape from the nine-clawed golden dragon's lock. However, after devouring the power of destruction, Longming's situation was completely different. With the help of the power of destruction, Longming's speed had soared to the extreme. Even the nine-clawed golden dragon could not lock onto Longming's body. Longao heaved a sigh of relief after Longming's safe return. After successfully passing through the death bridge, Longao calculated that he had successfully passed 3 tests. There were only 5 tests in total. In other words, he only needed 2 more tests to pass through the purple lightning space and reach the purple lightning lake. If He Tianhua and the others knew that Longao had successfully passed the 3 tests, they would probably be shocked to death. Chapter 1501. Nodding his head, Longming understood the meaning of his big brother's words. The stronger he was, the more help he would be to his big brother. On the contrary, with his current strength, not only would he not be able to help his big brother, He might even implicate his big brother. Long Ming retracted his arm and obediently refined the destructive energy, striving to raise his strength to the highest level in the shortest time possible. Looking at the endless 9 heavens before him, Long Ao continued on his way. Long Ao already knew the remaining 2 stages of the Purple Lightning 5 stages. The 4th stage was also the suppression of the heaven and earth's aura, but with the help of the Purple Lightning Lake's aura, it was extremely powerful. Even so, Long Ao still managed to pass through. The biggest reason was that Long Ao had condensed the heaven and earth's aura. As long as he passed the final stage, he would be able to reach the Purple Lightning Lake. Not only would the grudge between him and the Purple Thunder sect be written off, he would also be able to obtain a fortuitous encounter. Long Ao was very clear that the Purple Thunder ancestor wouldn't speak nonsense for no reason. Fortuitous encounter. According to what Purple Thunder ancestor had said, if he entered the Purple Thunder space this time, as long as there was no accident, his cultivation could break through from the God King realm to the God Emperor realm. Although this matter was a little difficult, Long Ao chose to believe in Purple Thunder ancestor. Could the fortuitous encounter be in the 5th stage? In the first 4 stages, other than the Bridge of Death, the other 3 stages didn't have any life or death moments. Long Ao was very clear that it was fortunate that he had condensed the heaven and earth's aura. Otherwise, other cultivators, even if they were peak God Emperor realm cultivators, not to mention passing the 4 stages, it would be a huge problem if they could even pass the 1st stage. Purple Lightning 5th stage, 5-blow thunderstruck. Putting aside whether the 5th stage was dangerous or not, just the name of the 5th stage, 5-blow thunderstruck, was already shocking enough. Previously, Long Ao didn't understand what the 5-blow thunderstruck meant. After stepping into the valley, Long Ao finally understood what the so-called 5-blow thunderstruck meant. The 5-blow thunderstruck was when the power of thunder and lightning filled the entire valley. No matter who it was, unless a Nirvana realm martial artist personally came, no one could withstand the thunder and lightning attack. The 5-blow thunderstruck was too wild. Even Long Ao stood at the edge of the valley and did not dare to step in. He knew his own limits. Even with his own strength, once he entered the valley, it was unknown whether he could withstand the 5-blow thunderstruck. Big Brother. The lightning in the valley. The lightning is not heaven's lightning. Not heaven's lightning? What did that mean? Hearing Long Chong's words, Long Ao's face was filled with curiosity. He asked, Xiao Chong, what do you mean? Big Brother, I have already sensed it. If I am not wrong, the lightning in the valley should come from the divine souls of the 4 Nirvana realm cultivators. It is the power of lightning condensed by the heaven and earth's power. Although it is not as strong as heaven's lightning, this kind of lightning can frighten people's mind and devour their flesh and blood. Damn, he was shocked because Long Ao never thought that there would be 4 Nirvana realm cultivators' divine souls in the valley. According to Long Chong's words, didn't it mean that at least 4 Nirvana realm cultivators had fallen in the valley? Moreover, they were cultivators who possessed the power of lightning. According to Long Chong's words, the 5 lightnings in the valley were extremely dangerous. If he entered rashly, wouldn't he die? Long Chong, do you have a way to deal with the 5 lightnings? Long Ao was very clear that if Long Chong did not have a way to deal with the 5 lightnings, he would not casually talk to him. In this case, if there were no accidents, Long Chong should have a way. As expected. Big Brother, with our situation, it is very difficult to resist the attack of the lightning. I just thought about it. If we want to pass through the valley smoothly, there is only one way. What is it? Long Ao was a little impatient because if they wanted to reach the Purple Lightning Lake smoothly, they had to pass through the valley. If they did not enter the valley, then they had to go back the way they came. Not to mention whether they could go back the way they came. Just the 9-clawed golden dragon alone would tear him apart if he went back. Because of this, no matter what, he had to enter the valley and break through the 5 lightnings. He had to pass through the valley and reach the Purple Lightning Lake smoothly. Big Brother, you have already devoured the power of lightning, but it was useless. If Big Brother is willing to take the risk, I have a bold suggestion. As long as I condense some essence blood, after you devour it, you can use the 9-cycle reincarnation technique to fuse your body with the Black Tortoise battle armor. If there are no accidents, I believe Big Brother's physical defense will increase by another level. Fusing the body with the black tortoise battle armor was a very wild thing. However, Longao did not hesitate because he chose to believe in Long Chong. As for the danger, it was still the same saying. Without danger, there would be no opportunity. Danger and opportunity would always coexist. Longao did not continue speaking. After resting for a while, he immediately took a step forward and stepped into the valley. The moment he stepped in, the power of lightning attacked him from all directions. If he did not enter, he would not have known. The moment he stepped in, he was shocked. Not daring to be careless, Longao immediately circulated the 9-cycle reincarnation technique. Black and white energy revolved around him, forming a black and white barrier. Long Chong's essence blood was a total of 10 drops. Longao directly fused them into his body. Not only that, Longao also started to fuse his body with the black tortoise battle armor. If it was under normal circumstances, who knew if he would succeed or how long it would take? But in the current situation, with the assistance of the 5 lightnings, Longao was given a rare opportunity. If it was the heavenly lightning, he wouldn't be able to fuse them together. The only thing he could do was to fuse the souls of the 4 lightning kings. Longao gritted his teeth in agony. If the fusion failed, there would only be a single outcome. He would be directly devoured by the lightning, and even his soul wouldn't be able to survive. He wouldn't even have the chance to enter the cycle of reincarnation. This was the consequence. Violet Thunder Sect, Violet Thunder Great Hall. Big Brother, Longao has already been in the Violet Thunder space for a total of 5 days. According to my guess, if Longao doesn't come out within 7 days, it means that he has already died in the Violet Thunder space. I wonder what are the chances of him surviving this time. Up until now, Yi Warren was still full of confidence. Just based on Longao's strength, it was almost impossible for him to pass the Violet Thunder space smoothly. Because for so many years, other than Nirvana Realm cultivators, no one else had been able to successfully reach the Violet Thunder Lake. Not only that, outsiders were unable to enter the Violet Thunder space. Precisely because of this, there were only 2 outcomes for Longao to enter the Violet Thunder space. The first outcome was to return the way he came. In that case, he could still preserve his life. However, according to the old ancestors' intention, as long as Longao didn't successfully reach the Violet Thunder Lake, the enmity between Longao and the Violet Thunder sect wouldn't be over. When the old ancestor personally took action, Longao would undoubtedly die. As for the second outcome, it was that Longao would definitely die if he tried to force his way through the Violet Thunder space. In other words, regardless of whether Longao tried to force his way through the Violet Thunder space, Longao would definitely die. With regards to his third brother's intentions, how could Yi Wutian not understand? He sneered and said, "Third brother, you can rest assured. I'm sure all of you are very clear about the situation at the Violet Thunder Lake. I've already decided that if Longao successfully reaches the Violet Thunder Lake and comes out alive, then the grudge between Longao and us will be written off. 3 elders, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't be stubborn. Otherwise, we won't be able to pass the old ancestors' test." Yi Warren seemed to want to say something, but was stopped by Yi Wutian. He nodded in agreement and said, "Let's do this." Chapter 1502. Unwillingness. Boundless anger and unwillingness. It was impossible for Yi Warren to let the matter rest. Even if the sect wanted to wipe the slate clean with Longao, there was no way he would let Longao off so easily. An entire day and night passed. Longao finally merged the black tortoise battle armor with his physical body. Using the dragon blood essence as a catalyst, Longao's physical defense was now stronger than the black tortoise battle armor. Looking at the lightning attacks that had stopped in the surrounding valleys, Longao sighed. If the Purple Thunder Ancestor and the rest were here, what would they think? The lightning energy in the valley was suppressed by the 4 Nirvana Realm Divine Souls, but Longao absorbed it cleanly. Whether or not the 4 Nirvana Realm Divine Souls were destroyed was still unknown. In this kind of situation, Longao didn't continue to dwell on it. He would tell Purple Thunder Ancestor everything about the Thunder Valley when the time came. Purple Thunder Lake, Purple Thunder Sect's forbidden area. Other than the Purple Thunder Ancestor, no one knew about the secret of the Purple Thunder Lake. Even Yi Tianhua and the three elders did not know about the origin energy in the Purple Thunder Lake. Purple Thunder Lake. Surrounded by peaks, there was a huge lake in the middle. The surface of the lake emitted purple lightning, just like the Purple Thunder Lake. In the middle of the lake, there was a pavilion that was neither big nor small. Inside the pavilion, the four of them sat in a circle in the pavilion. Since the old ancestor did not speak, Yi Tianhua and the other three did not dare to say anything. The four of them looked at each other and saw a trace of anticipation in each other's eyes. The four of them hoped that Longao would fall in the Purple Thunder 5 gates. That way, it would save them a lot of trouble. The four of them were worried. If Longao came out alive, what would happen to the four of them? Brother Long, congratulations. Brother Long? The old ancestor called Longao Brother Long? Hearing the old ancestor call him that, the four of them were dumbfounded. If they didn't hear it with their own ears, they wouldn't have believed it even if they died. Not only that, the four of them had never thought that Longao would really challenge the Purple Lightning trials. Was this for real? Looking at the figure in the sky, the four of them looked extremely gloomy, especially Yi Warren, who clenched his fists tightly. However, the great ancestor was here, so even if he was furious, he could only endure it. After entering the pavilion, Longao ignored the four people. Big Brother Purple Thunder, thank you. Longao was very clear in his heart that if not for Yi Zilei's help this time, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens for him to smoothly pass the Purple Lightning 5 trials. Come, sit. Longao did not have the slightest trace of politeness and directly sat down. All of you, listen up. Brother Long has already successfully arrived at the Purple Lightning Lake. From today onwards, the grudge between Brother Long and the sect will be written off. Since the old ancestor had already said so, the four of them could do nothing about it. Longao, goodbye. Yi Tianhua and the other three stood up, respectfully bowing to Purple Thunder Ancestor, then turned and left. Brother Long, please don't take offense. It's fine. Longao was very clear in his heart that although the four of them reluctantly agreed to write off the grudge because of Purple Thunder Ancestor's deterrence, the four of them were 100% unwilling to do so. If given the chance, Longao could almost be sure that the four of them would not hesitate to deal with him. There was not the slightest bit of worry. As long as Purple Thunder Ancestor stood on his side, Longao believed that even if the four of them wanted to deal with him, they would not be able to do so openly. Brother Long, did you gain anything from this trip to the Purple Lightning Lake? Regarding this point, Longao did not hide the slightest bit, and roughly recounted the events in the Purple Lightning Valley. It's fine. The four Nirvana Realm souls did not disappear. Since you have already devoured the lightning energy, if there are no accidents, the Lightning Valley will be filled with lightning energy again in about 3 years' time. I see. Hearing this, Longao heaved a sigh of relief. Brother Long, since you have successfully arrived at the Purple Lightning Lake, I will not hide it from you. The origin energy that I discovered in the past is within the Purple Lightning Lake. I have tried countless methods, but still could not obtain it. I hope you can help me. Without the slightest hesitation. However, Longao shook his head. Brother Yi, to tell you the truth, I have already sensed the origin energy here. Although it has not been sealed by the heavenly Daos, I can almost guarantee that as long as you break the seal and obtain the origin energy, the heavenly Daos will be the first to know. Is this true? If it was anyone else who said this, Yi Zilei would definitely not believe it. Only Longao did not have the slightest doubt. That was because he was well aware of Longao's character. There was no need to trick him. The heavenly Daos were the #1 person in the Martial Heaven continent. If this matter was known by the heavenly Daos, the consequences would be unimaginable. Brother Yi, you and I feel like old friends at first sight. I know how you treat me. Since that's the case, I will not hide it from you. Several years ago, I obtained the origin energy here. Hearing this, even Purple Thunder Ancestor was shocked, because he knew very well what the origin energy meant. Although Longao's cultivation had not yet broken through to the Nirvana realm, he could store the origin energy. Once his cultivation broke through to the Nirvana realm and obtained the origin energy, then he would have at least an 80% chance of breaking through to the peak of the martial Tao. Without waiting for Purple Thunder Ancestor to speak, Longao had already continued. However, I have already forcibly expelled the origin energy from my body. Why is that? Brother Long, do you know that if you can obtain the origin energy and break through to the Nirvana realm, then you will most likely break through to the peak of the martial Tao? For martial artists, the peak of the martial Tao is something they yearn for. Don't you want to break through to the peak of the martial Tao? I do. Without the slightest hesitation, not only himself, but also the peak of the martial Tao. It was a realm that every martial artist yearned to break through. Even Longao was no exception. Then why? This time, Purple Thunder Ancestor was completely confused. Since Longao also wanted to break through to the peak of the martial Tao, then the origin energy was the key. It could be said that without the origin energy, no matter who it was, they would not be able to reach the peak of the martial Tao. Even the strongest person under the heavenly Tao, the myriad beasts ancestor, would not be able to break through to the peak of the martial Tao without devouring the origin energy. Big Brother Purple Thunder, I have a secret. After telling you, I hope you can keep it a secret, because once this matter is spread out, I am afraid it will cause a sensation in the entire continent. Especially if the heavenly Tao knows about it, then you and I will have a lot of trouble. Seeing Longao speak in such a dignified manner, Purple Thunder Ancestor seemed to have guessed something. He nodded heavily and said, Brother Long, rest assured, what you and I will talk about today will not be known by a third person. Purple Thunder Ancestor was very unwilling. If the origin energy of the Purple Thunder Lake was related to the heavenly Tao, then no matter what, he could not touch it. Otherwise, if he angered the heavenly Tao, the consequences would be unimaginable. Chapter 1503. Big Brother Yi, if it's possible, we should reproduce our own origin energy. Reproduce their own origin energy? What did that mean? For a moment, Yi Zilei didn't react. Longao smiled and continued, Big Brother Yi, all the Nirvana realm martial artists in the Tianwu continent want to obtain the origin energy, but no one knows. Once they devour the origin energy, although they can smoothly break through the peak realm of the martial Tao, after breaking through the peak realm of the martial Tao, I'm afraid it's already impossible to continue improving. As the realm got higher and higher, Longao could almost be sure that even in the peak realm of martial arts, there were differences in strength. Devouring the power of origin to break through the peak realm of martial arts, it was as difficult as ascending to the sky to continue to improve. However, if one could reproduce the power of origin, then after reaching the peak realm of martial arts, the difficulty of continuing to break through would be much easier. However, to reproduce one's own origin energy was easier said than done. In the past 10,000 years, no one on the Tianwu continent had been able to reproduce their own origin energy. Even the number one expert beneath the heavenly Taos, the myriad beast ancestor, hadn't been able to reproduce their own origin energy. It was easy to imagine how difficult it was. After hearing Longao's secret, Yi Zilei sighed. If it weren't for Longao, he wouldn't have known about it even if he was beaten to death. Let alone him, he believed that no one on the Tianwu continent knew about it. For a long time, everyone had believed that there was only one way to break through to the Nirvana realm, and that was to devour their own origin energy. There was no other way. But now, Brother Long, I understand what you mean. However, according to what you said, although the reproduction of source energy by oneself is very beneficial to one's cultivation in the future, have you ever thought that it is almost impossible for us to reproduce source energy on our own? If that is the case, I believe that many people will choose to devour source energy instead of reproducing source energy on their own. Longao nodded. He agreed with Yi Zilei's words. It was just as Yi Zilei had said. Reproducing one's own origin energy was much more difficult than devouring it. Even if one broke through to the peak of the martial path, it would be difficult to continue breaking through in the future. Perhaps out of 100 people, 100 would choose to devour their own origin energy instead of reproducing it themselves. Big Brother Yi, I know what you mean. I've already decided to reproduce my own origin energy. That's why I forcibly expelled it from my body. Big Brother Yi, I also hope that you can reproduce your own origin energy. Yi Zilei sighed deeply and helplessly said, Brother Long, I'm sure you're aware of the Martial Heaven continent situation. No one can reproduce core energy. Even the number one genius beneath the heavenly Das, the myriad beast ancestor, can't do it. At this point, Yi Zilei did not continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Big Brother Yi, I have a conjecture that I want to share with you. Can you give me some advice? Brother Long, Brother Yi. Yi Zilei didn't say anything. He just listened. According to my guess, the Tianwu continent's inability to reproduce their own origin energy isn't because of the Tianwu continent's cultivators. Perhaps it's because of the heavenly Daos or the God Diviner. What do you think? Brother Long, since you know, why are you giving up on your origin energy? Yi Zilei was completely confused. Longao clearly knew that he couldn't reproduce his own origin energy, but he still gave up on it. If that was the case, wanting to break through to the peak of the martial path was just a fool's dream. Big Brother Yi, whether or not you're willing to reproduce your own origin energy, I've already decided. No matter the price. Seeming to think of something, Longao continued, Big Brother Yi, we can't touch the Purple Lightning Lake's origin energy for now. We can't let the heavenly Daos discover it. Otherwise, we'll all be in trouble. However, I promise you that if there's a chance in the future, I'll do my best to help you break the seal on the Purple Lightning Lake and obtain its origin energy. Since things had already reached this point, how could Yi Zilei refuse? Although Yi Zilei really wanted to obtain the origin energy, he could only choose to give up temporarily when he thought of the terrifying heavenly Das. Brother Long, what are you going to do next? What should I do? Longao's cultivation had successfully broken through from the Divine King realm to the Divine Emperor realm. Moreover, his body had merged with the black tortoise armor. Not only did his strength soar, but his physical defense had also reached a new level. At this moment, Longao was fully confident that he could kill a Hierarch realm expert and even fight against a Divine Emperor realm expert. As for the outcome, it was still unknown. Big Brother Yi, I believe you should know about the one-year agreement between me and the three major forces.
Yes.
I'm going to train well. I hope to break through the Supreme Divine Realm and reach the Nirvana Realm within a year's time. Then, I'll be able to fight against the three major forces. Could Longao really do it in just a year's time? Although Yi Zilei believed in Longao's talent and potential, but to say that Longao could break through from the Divine Emperor Realm to the Nirvana Realm in just a year's time was a little unbelievable. But what could he say? Brother Long, no matter when, I will stand by your side. 1 year later, I will head to the Dragon Valley. What did Yi Zilei mean? Longao wasn't a fool. He naturally understood Yi Zilei's meaning. 1 year later, Yi Zilei would head to the Dragon Valley to help him. In that case, the Violet Thunder sect would have a grudge with the three major powers. This was a huge favor. However, Longao didn't reject because he truly treated Yi Zilei as a friend. Since they were friends, there was no need for words. Big Brother Yi, I'll take my leave first. 1 year later, if I don't die, I will definitely do my best to help you break the seal on the Purple Lightning Lake and obtain the origin energy. Okay. Longao didn't stay any longer. He stood up and left. In a secret chamber of the Violet Thunder sect. Third Elder, Longao has already left the sect. As for his whereabouts, we don't know. In the dark room, Yi Warren's face was gloomy to the extreme. His whole body exuded a terrifying murderous aura that lingered for a long time. He said in a gloomy voice, Send out sun, moon, and star. No matter what happens, kill Longao for me. Otherwise, the four of them will never come back. Yes. In the secret chamber, only Yi Warren was left. All of a sudden, a sinister laughter rang out, echoing throughout the secret chamber. After leaving the Violet Thunder sect, Longao quietly stood at the peak of a mountain, feeling the cool breeze blowing against his face. In his mind, he was thinking about the future. 1 year. He only had 1 year. If he couldn't break through to the Nirvana realm within a year, it would be difficult for him to contend against the three major powers. No matter if it was the Martial Artists Alliance, the Long family, or the Myriad Beast sect, they were all part of the 10 Great Sects. You followed me all the way. Why don't you come out and meet me? Longao didn't need to guess. He already knew who the other party was. Although he had already written off the debt between him and Yi Zilei, what about the other 4? Especially Yi Warren. He had killed Yi Warren's grandson, as well as many Divine Realm cultivators from the Violet Thunder sect. How could Yi Warren and Yi Tianhua just let it go? Under the dusk, 4 people slowly walked out. The 4 middle-aged men looked almost identical. They were the quadruplets, Sun, Moon, and Star, who were sent by Yi Warren. They were warriors at the peak of the Emperor God realm. Unless a Nirvana realm warrior came in person, no one could compete with the power of the 4 of them. You're Longao? Since you already know, why bother asking? Who are the 4 of you? Sun Yuxing from the Violet Thunder sect. What's your purpose? To kill you. Longao didn't continue talking nonsense. He just wanted to confirm whether the 4 of them were from the Violet Thunder sect or not. However, the 4 of them were open and aboveboard. They didn't hide anything. If it was someone else, they wouldn't have dared to say their name out of fear of the Violet Thunder ancestor. In the end, the 4 of them were still confident that they could kill him. Longao, if you kill yourself here, we can keep your corpse. Longao took a step forward. Borrowing the power of teleportation, his silhouette suddenly disappeared. At the same time, a dragon roar resounded. Longao had already used his innate ability, the dragon roar, locking onto the bodies of the 4. If it was one-on-one, Longao could use his innate ability to lock onto his opponent's body. The success rate was very high. However, if the 4 of them joined forces, it would be difficult for Longao to lock onto their bodies. However, Longao didn't give them any chance to breathe. After using his innate ability, he used his time-killing technique. Under the influence of time, Longao's speed soared to the limit. As for the 4 of them, they discovered that their speed was much slower than before. They didn't dare to be careless and immediately joined forces to break through the flow of time and space around them. One had to admit that the 4 of them were very strong. Under their joint forces, their power was unimaginable. In just a few seconds, they had broken through the flow of time and space. Sun Yuxing and the other 3 were quadruplets. Apart from being mentally connected, they also had another body, which was the illusion. Under the illusion, even Longao didn't have the slightest bit of defense and was ruthlessly attacked. The 4 of them joined forces, each sending out a palm strike. If it was the previous Longao, even with the protection of the Black Tortoise battle armor, he would have been injured even if he didn't die. However, ever since his bloodline merged with the Black Tortoise battle armor, Longao's physical defense had risen to a whole new level. Even if he took one of their attacks head-on, Longao would be fine. The 4 of them had full confidence in the power of their joint attack, but Longao was fine. The 4 of them were completely dumbfounded. Was this real? Chapter 1504. Although the 4 of them were shocked when they missed their target, they did not stop attacking. They attacked Longao from all 4 directions at the same time. Retreating continuously, Longao knew very well that if this continued, he would definitely lose. Without the help of the Dragon Seal, it would not be easy for Longao to escape successfully. This battle boded ill rather than well. Longao did not expect the 4 of them to be so powerful when they joined forces. Sun, Moon, and Stars, the 4 of them created a divine power. Unless a Nirvana realm warrior came in person, no one was their match. With the help of spatial teleportation, Longao kept changing his figure. In this way, it would not be easy for the 4 of them to kill Longao. As time passed, the battle continued to escalate. Longao, we'd like to see how you're going to leave today. Prison of heaven and earth. Sun, Moon, and Stars were connected by blood. When they broke through to the ultimate God realm together, they created a spatial divine power. In other words, the so-called prison of heaven and earth was almost the same as spatial imprisonment. Shocking. Longao did not expect the 4 of them to be able to imprison his body. This was going to be troublesome. He didn't dare to be careless, nor did he dare to hesitate. He mobilized all the power in his body and directly used his divine power, Dragon Roar. As the Dragon Roar sounded, the flow of space changed counterclockwise. His divine power and prison of heaven and earth were both spatial imprisonment. If they were of the same realm, Longao might not necessarily lose even if he fought against four of them. However, the situation was completely different now. The realm gap between Longao and the four of them was too big. Therefore, the prison of heaven and earth directly reflected the divine power and imprisoned Longao's body instantly. Before Longao could react, the four of them were already close to him. They each threw a punch and all of them landed on Longao's body. If it was an ordinary warrior, not to mention a divine king, even an emperor god would have almost zero chance of survival after being attacked by the four of them. However, Longao's situation was different. After fusing his physical body with the black tortoise armor, Longao's physical defense rose to a whole new level. Even if he stood there and allowed the four of them to attack him, they would need at least a few dozen attacks before they could injure him. That was not even considering whether or not they could break through Longao's physical defense. The black tortoise was known as the divine beast with the strongest defense in the world. The black tortoise armor was refined by the black tortoise. Moreover, now that it had fused with Longchang's blood essence, its defensive power was even more terrifying. Boom! Longao was still as steady as Mount Tai. It could be said that he was not injured at all. What was going on? Looking at Longao, who did not even lose a single strand of hair, Sun Moon Stellar was even more astonished. The four of them were extremely confident in their strength. Let alone a puny god king. Even a rebirth realm cultivator would not dare to say that he could take their combined attack head-on. He had failed to kill Longao twice. What kind of concept was this? Kill. The four of them looked at each other and saw a trace of determination in each other's eyes. The four of them knew about the grudge between Longao and the sect. Moreover, the third elder had already given them a death order. If they could not kill Longao, they could forget about going back in this lifetime. It was either you die or I die. The four of them definitely did not want to die. Therefore, the only way was for Longao to die. The four of them continued to use the prison of heaven and earth to imprison Longao. They did not give Longao any chance to escape. The continuous attacks hit Longao dozens of times in a few seconds. No matter how strong Longao's defense was, he could not withstand such attacks. Longao spat out blood. His face was pale and his body was on the verge of collapsing. Seeing this, the four of them were overjoyed. The power of the prison of heaven and earth was still maintained. The four of them could be considered to have thrown caution to the wind. After all, using the prison of heaven and earth for a long time would cause great harm to the four of them. Innate divine ability, Dragon Roar. Longao did not give up. As long as it was not the last moment, he would not give up. 1 against 4, the gap between their realms was too big. Longao wanted to rely on his innate divine ability to break the prison of heaven and earth. It was a little difficult. However, as the battle continued to escalate, the four of them continued to use the prison of heaven and earth. The four of them gradually weakened. In this way, Longao's innate divine ability and the prison of heaven and earth were constantly entangled and colliding. The spatial fluctuations in the surroundings became more and more intense. The two different spatial divine abilities collided. Not sure if it was because the power was too strong, but a crack suddenly appeared. It was like a starving beast. Spatial crack. Retreat. Looking at the spatial crack that suddenly appeared in front of them, the four of them kept retreating. The four of them knew very well what the spatial crack meant. Not to mention them, even the third elder or the old ancestor would not dare to resist the spatial crack. In front of the spatial crack, only a pinnacle martial artist had the ability to resist it. Longao did not dare to move. Because of the collision of the spatial fluctuations, the spatial cracks had already appeared in the surroundings. No matter which direction he tried to escape, he would be swallowed by the spatial crack. He hoped that he was lucky and that the spatial crack would not spread inwards. Otherwise, he would definitely die. Both sides did not dare to move. The four of them hoped that the spatial crack would swallow Longao. As for Longao, he did not move, hoping that the spatial crack would not spread. Otherwise, he would not be able to resist the spatial crack, and only death would await him. Time passed slowly. Boom, 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 boom. Just at this time, the sound of thunder suddenly resounded from the summit of the mountain. Longao was very curious. He raised his head and looked at the 9 heavens. The sky was clear and boundless. There was not the slightest bit of thunderclouds. If that was the case, where did the thunder come from? The 4 of them were pleasantly surprised. The 4 of them had already guessed what had happened. The 4 of them bowed respectfully but did not say anything. Longao, you killed my grandson. Today, I will make you pay with your blood. Blood for blood. Hearing these words, Longao had already guessed who it was. If he was not wrong, it would definitely be his biggest enemy, the 3rd elder of the Purple Thunder sect, Warren. Just as expected. Warren, do you know that the grudge between me and the Purple Thunder sect has been written off? If you attack me now, you are ignoring the Purple Thunder sect's old ancestor. Under such circumstances, if Warren were to attack, it would be disadvantageous for him. After all, Longao could not move recklessly. Otherwise, he would be swallowed by the spatial crack. Ha ha ha, who knows that I will attack you? Longao, no matter who comes today, you will definitely die. Blood for blood. Just as he finished speaking, the sound of thunder grew louder. Chapter 1505. Almost everyone in the Purple Thunder sect cultivated the power of thunder and lightning. Warren's cultivation had successfully broken through to the Nirvana realm, and the power of thunder and lightning he possessed was not something that ordinary people could contend with. Even if there was no space crack around Longao, it was still unknown whether he could withstand it, not to mention the current situation. It was a close call, an eye for an eye. In order to avenge his grandson, Warren even disregarded the ancestors' deterrence and insisted on taking action. However, Warren was also full of confidence. The hunting operation this time was extremely secretive. Unless Ri, Yu, and Xing leaked the information, it was impossible for the forefather to know about it. Sun, moon, stars, help me? Yes. Hearing the voices coming from all around, Longao became even more curious. Warren's cultivation had already reached the Nirvana realm, and he was no match for him at all. In that case, why did Warren need the 4 of them to help him? Why? In the next second, Longao finally knew the reason. It turned out that Warren wanted to ensure that nothing would go wrong. Even if he was full of confidence in his own strength, Warren still needed the help of the 4 of them. In this way, nothing would go wrong. Warren joined forces with the sun, moon, stars, and the surrounding began to be filled with all kinds of thunder and lightning power, constantly attacking Longao. If Longao was in his heyday and relied on his physical defense to resist the thunder and lightning attack, at least he would not die immediately. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao had already been attacked by the 4 of them at the beginning. Even if his physical defense was strong, it was impossible for him to resist the attacks continuously, especially now. The one who attacked was Warren, a Nirvana realm super powerhouse who was above the 4 of them. Puff. Longao's body was attacked by the thunder and lightning. He could no longer hold on and flew out directly. This was the strongest attack of Warren and the 4 of them. Not to mention Longao, even a Nirvana realm warrior would not be able to resist this move. Hit. Overjoyed, the 4 of them looked at each other and saw a trace of surprise in each other's eyes. It was very funny. The 4 of them were at the peak God Emperor realm. Even if they joined forces with a Nirvana realm expert to kill Longao, they would still be considered to have lost in such a huge battle, even if they won. If this matter were to spread out, where would his face be? However, the 5 of them wouldn't let this matter spread. Putting aside the issue of face, if the Patriarch were to find out about this, whether it was sun, moon, star, or Warren, they wouldn't be able to answer to Patriarch Purple Thunder. Longao was struck by the lightning and his body flew out. Just as his body landed on the spatial crack, he was instantly swallowed up by it. 3rd Elder. He waved his hand. Warren sneered and said, "No one below the peak of martial arts can survive a space crack. Longao is no exception." The spatial crack lasted for a full minute before it gradually disappeared. The peak of the mountain regained its calm. This matter is not allowed to be leaked. Otherwise, no matter who it is, you will be killed without mercy. Yes, third elder. Let's go. Yi Warren was pleasantly surprised after successfully killing Longao. He didn't expect that things would go so smoothly. He thought that Longao was a powerful enemy, but now it seemed that his reputation wasn't as good as meeting him in person. As the four of them left, the peak of the mountain was destroyed beyond recognition. However, there wasn't the slightest bit of chi around the mountain. This was Yi Warren's strength. Longao was swallowed up by the spatial crack. In the entire Tianwu continent, no one knew about it, including Patriarch Purple Thunder, Purple Thunder sect. Inside a secret chamber. Big brother, Longao is dead. Longao was dead? Of course, Yi Wuyan and Yi Wuyan didn't doubt their third brother's words. The two of them were shocked because the great ancestor had already said that the grudge between Longao and the sect was written off. Their third brother still rashly attacked and killed Longao. Wasn't he looking down on the great ancestor? Third brother, you were too reckless. If the Patriarch learns of this, you'll be in great trouble. Yi Wuyan wanted to say that if the Patriarch learned of this, their third brother would definitely die. After all, the Patriarch and Longao seemed to be old friends at first sight, although they didn't know what was going on with the Patriarch. Big brother, I'm sure you've also seen that Longao is too dangerous. If we don't kill him in time, once he matures in the future, we'll be in great trouble. So I had to take the risk and kill Longao. Before Yi Wuti and Yi Wuyan could say anything, Yi Warren continued, Big brother, second brother, I did this very secretly. No one else will know, including the Patriarch. Let's act as if nothing happened. Things had already come to this point. Even if they didn't want to, the fact was already set. It was too late to regret. They only hoped that the Patriarch wouldn't know of this, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. Big brother, third brother did the right thing. Longao is too dangerous. With such cultivation talent, he'll definitely surpass us in the future. The Patriarch is obviously on Longao's side. In order to avoid any trouble in the future, third brother did the right thing. Yi Wuyan sighed deeply and said helplessly, I don't know why, but I always have a bad feeling in my heart. I'm sure you've already heard of the legends about Longao. Longao's death. I really don't believe it. Yi Wuyan knew very well that if Longao didn't die, then things would be very troublesome. Hearing their big brother's worry, both Yi Warren and Yi Wuti laughed. Yi Warren said with a smile, Big brother, you're worrying too much. I saw with my own eyes that Longao was swallowed by the space crack. I'm sure you know better than me what a space crack means. I don't believe that Longao can survive in a space crack. Third brother is right. Unless the marvelous mathematician in the way of the heavens come in person, no one can survive in a space crack, not even the Patriarch. Yi Wuti and Yi Warren were filled with confidence. After all, a space crack was too powerful. Only taboo energy could block it. Other than that, no matter who it was, as long as they were swallowed by a space crack, their chances of survival would be zero. Thinking of this, Yi Wuyan also nodded, but he still had a bad premonition in his heart. However, this matter was indeed a bit groundless. If Longao really didn't die, then not to mention the three of them, even if everyone in the entire Tianwu continent, he believed that no one would choose to believe it. It was simply unbelievable. Let's stop here. We'll act as if nothing happened. We can't let the Patriarch or the Master know, understood? Don't worry, big brother. No one else will know about this. Chapter 1506. Outer Sea. Within the Crystal Palace, Master God Diviner, who had been closing his eyes, suddenly opened his eyes, his expression changing. Longao was swallowed by a spatial tear? Even Master God Diviner couldn't help but be shocked by the results. He was extremely clear on what a spatial tear meant. Others might not know, but as a peak expert of the martial path, he knew that a true spatial tear was actually a taboo energy. If a peak expert was swallowed by a spatial tear, they wouldn't die. They would just lose their way. Anyone below the peak of the martial path would definitely die if they entered a spatial tear. Even Longao was no exception. He shook his head helplessly. Master God Diviner raised his head and looked at the endless sea outside the Crystal Palace. Longao, of all the people here, I'm the only one who can't divine your fate. So I chose you. I hope you won't disappoint me. Master God Diviner closed his eyes once more. The Martial Heaven Continent. Blackwater City was the largest city in a 100-mile radius. The strangest thing was that Blackwater City didn't have the slightest power guarding it. In other words, Blackwater City was a place of joblessness. Anyone could enter Blackwater City and do whatever they wanted. When a treasure appeared in Blackwater City, the 10 Directions cauldrons had all fought over it. In the end, none of the 10 Directions cauldrons had obtained the treasure. As for where the treasure was, no one knew. It was precisely because of this. The 10 Directions cauldrons had an agreement that no superpower could enter Blackwater City. Anyone who violated this agreement would be attacked by the other 9 superpowers. In the past 1,000 years, Blackwater City had slowly developed, but it didn't belong to the 10 Directions cauldrons. As for the other second and third-rate powers, they also didn't dare to enter. As a result, the local experts of Blackwater City slowly formed their own superpowers and dominated Blackwater City. After 1,000 years of development, Blackwater City had 2 superpowers. They were the Qin family and the Wang family. Other than the 2 superpowers, Blackwater City also had dozens of smaller families. However, those smaller families were just vassals of the 2 superpowers. Among the dozens of small family clans, the strongest martial artists were only divine kings. However, the 2 superpowers, whether it was the Qin family or the Wang family, had peak god emperors as their strongest experts. Even so, those 2 families were very powerful. Even in the Martial Heaven continent, they could be considered second-rate powers. The Zhou family. It was one of the dozens of small clans. You could say that. Among the dozens of clans in Blackwater City, the Zhou clan could only be considered to be at the bottom. The reason was simple. Ever since the fall of the ancestor of the Zhou family, the strongest expert of the Zhou family, Zhou Tian, was only a deity. If not for the deterrence of the 2 great clans, the Zhou clan would have been destroyed, glaring like a tiger watching its prey. The other small clans were all staring at the Zhou clan. As long as the Qin clan and the Wang clan agreed, the Zhou clan would be divided up in an instant. This was the cruel reality, whether it was an individual, a family, or a sect. The Zhou clan occupied several acres of land. They had rockeries, lotus ponds, and training grounds. Although the Zhou clan was ranked at the bottom of the Blackwater City, they were still one of the oldest clans in the city. In the backyard, at the left corner, in a dilapidated courtyard, a skinny young man was waving his fists as he practiced. The young man's name was Zhou Hao, and he was the son of the Zhou clan's patriarch, Zhou Tian. However, Zhou Hao was not born to be a cultivator. After 10 years of cultivation, he was still at the first sky of the acquired realm. For Zhou Hao, the Zhou clan had spent a lot of effort, but there was still no improvement. Even if Zhou Hao had a patriarch as his father, many people would feel dissatisfied if this continued. Zhou Hao also knew his situation, so he took the initiative to move out of the courtyard to the most remote area and quietly cultivated by himself. So what if he was trash? Zhou Hao had always believed that with his own efforts, one day, he would be able to become a powerful warrior. Because of his belief and persistence, Zhou Hao had always persevered and never gave up. Persevere, persevere. I can't give up. Ever since he moved here, Zhou Hao had been harassed by the other disciples of the clan. But even so, Zhou Hao had never told his father about this, because he was too ashamed to say it. As the son of the patriarch, he was a trash in cultivation. This was enough to embarrass his father. He punched out, full of vigor. At this moment, there was a sudden strong fluctuation in space. With a whoosh, before Zhou Hao could react, a black shadow quickly smashed towards him, directly smashing Zhou Hao to the ground. My God, what is this? Enduring the bursts of pain in his body, Zhou Hao turned over the thing on his body. He was startled when he saw it, because the thing that had just smashed him was not an object, but a living person. He was startled. Brother, wake up, who are you? The one who came out of the space crack was none other than Longao. This time, he was forcefully smashed into the space crack by Yi Warren. Under normal circumstances, he would have died. But what was the result? Even if Yi Warren and the other three were beaten to death, they would never have thought that Longao was so lucky. He was smashed into the space crack and entered the space tunnel. Without the attack of the forbidden power, Longao was forcefully sent out. As for where he was sent to, no one knew. Although Longao was not swallowed by the space crack and died, he was seriously injured and could die at any time. Fortunately, he hit Zhou Hao. If it hit someone else, the consequences would be unimaginable. As for why Longao was so lucky that he was not swallowed by the space crack, the biggest reason was that the mysterious young man in the wordless book helped him. Otherwise, it was really unknown whether Longao could survive. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Zhou Hao was a little helpless. He did not know what kind of bad luck he had today. Fortunately, Zhou Hao was a kind young man and did not give up on Longao. Instead, he carried Longao back to the room and put him on the bed. I don't know what's going on with you. What should I do now? Looking at the unconscious young man on the bed, Zhou Hao was a little helpless. For a moment, he did not know what to do. The aura in Longao's body began to circulate on its own. As a supreme cultivation method, as long as Longao was alive, the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique would automatically circulate and the power of reincarnation would flow throughout his body. In his mind, 9 revolutions reincarnation, fighting against heaven and earth. Then, a burst of information came into Longao's mind. It was the 4th phase of the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique. In other words, this time Longao was swallowed by the space crack. Not only did he not die, but he also benefited from the disaster and successfully broke through the 4th phase of the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique. If Longao woke up, it would be something that he never expected. Chapter 1507. The 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique. Longao vaguely remembered what Long Fu said when he taught him the 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique. The 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique was incomparably powerful. The 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique fought against the heavens and earth. When his master completed the 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique, he would also step onto the peak of martial arts. Long Fu was looking forward to seeing his master take that step. According to Longao's guess, as long as he could break through the 9th revolution of the 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique, he should be able to reproduce the power of origin and break through the peak of martial arts. The 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique fought against the heavens and earth. The 1st Revolution Reincarnation Technique did not enter the Yellow Springs. The 2nd Revolution Reincarnation Technique teleported. The 3rd Revolution Reincarnation Technique. The 4th Revolution Reincarnation Technique. As soon as the information of the 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique entered Longao's mind, 8 words appeared. 4th Revolution Reincarnation Technique, Reincarnation Heavenly Eye. 4th Revolution Reincarnation Technique, Reincarnation Heavenly Eye. The 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique operated on its own. The power of reincarnation had already begun to slowly flow throughout Longao's body, limbs, and bones. Even so, Longao was severely injured by the attacks and was swallowed by the spatial crack. His injuries were already very serious, and he was only a step away from death. If he wanted to recover in a short period of time, even if the 9 Revolutions Reincarnation Technique operated on its own, it would still be impossible. In the room, Zhou Hao's expression was very serious because he found that the young man on the bed was getting weaker and weaker, as if he would die at any time. What should he do? There. It really hurts. A day later, Longao finally made a weak sound. He slowly opened his eyes with difficulty and saw a young man with a face full of surprise. You're awake? How do you feel? Who are you? Where is this? Longao was also a little surprised. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief because he already knew that even if he was swallowed by the spatial crack, he did not die. It was a blessing in disguise. Who could survive after being swallowed by the spatial crack? He was probably the first. No one before and no one would be able to surpass him. Zhou Hao smiled and said, I am Zhou Hao, a disciple of the Zhou family. This is Blackwater City. What's your name? Black Wolf. Longao would definitely not reveal his real name. No matter what, he had too many enemies. It was better to be safe than sorry. If his whereabouts were discovered, wouldn't it implicate Zhou Hao? Big brother Black Wolf, why did you suddenly fall from the sky? You almost smashed me to death. Hearing this, Longao also smiled. Should he tell Zhou Hao that he had come out from a spatial rift? Zhou Hao probably didn't even know what a spatial crack was. Longao had already sensed that the youth who had saved his life was only at the first heaven stage of the Hotian realm. This kind of strength was the lowest level of existence in the Tianwu continent. Tell me about Blackwater City. Zhou Hao was very curious, but since the other party wasn't willing to talk about his background, Zhou Hao tactfully didn't continue to ask. In the following period of time, Zhou Hao roughly told Longao about Blackwater City, including his own family. Hearing that Zhou Hao had persisted for 10 years, Longao was somewhat moved. Zhou Hao's situation was very similar to his own. He was also a trash of the Long family and was also bullied by others. He also persisted for 10 years. Zhou Hao, wait a few days. When my injuries are slightly better, I will help you to see what's going on. Thank you. Zhou Hao didn't take this matter to heart. After all, he was very clear about the situation of his cultivation. Even if the other party's injuries were healed, could he really help him? Not necessarily. Zhou Hao was very clear about one thing, and that was that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Zhou Hao, I want to rest. For 3 days, don't let anyone disturb me. Zhou Hao nodded. Zhou Hao didn't say much. He gave Longao some simple things and left the room. Zhou Hao was also very hardworking. He didn't waste a single second and immediately began to cultivate. Just this perseverance and willpower was enough to compete with many people. Longao didn't care too much about Zhou Hao. He knew that if he wanted to help Zhou Hao, he had to first recover from his injuries. Because his injuries were too serious, Longao immediately immersed himself in his recovery. A blessing in disguise? Sensing that the 9-cycle reincarnation technique had successfully broken through to the 4th cycle, Longao was pleasantly surprised. This was because he never expected that after being swallowed by the spatial crack, not only did he not die, but he also successfully broke through to the 4th cycle. His luck was a little too good. The 9-cycle reincarnation technique, the last 5 cycles were still unknown, unless he could break through the last 5 cycles. As for the first 4 cycles, the first cycle of reincarnation, not entering the yellow spring, the second cycle of reincarnation, teleportation, and the third cycle of reincarnation, reincarnation doppelganger. As for the 4th cycle of reincarnation, Longao was also a little stunned. The 4th cycle of reincarnation, reincarnation heavenly eye. What was this heavenly eye? In the following days, Longao began to sense the reincarnation heavenly eye. After an entire day and night, he gradually figured out where the reincarnation heavenly eye's ability was. The reincarnation heavenly eye could see through all nothingness. Not only that, but it could also intimidate the soul. As long as the difference in realm wasn't too great, the reincarnation heavenly eye could directly disperse the soul of the enemy. Not only that, but the reincarnation heavenly eye could also be upgraded. As for how many more abilities it could produce in the future, even Longao himself didn't know. 3 days later, after 3 days of recuperation, Longao was more or less able to get out of bed and walk. However, he couldn't use his strength. Otherwise, his injuries would backfire and the consequences would be unimaginable. Longao roughly calculated that it would take him at least a month to recover from his injuries. As for using his strength, it would take him another 3 days. Big brother Black Wolf, are you all right? Shaking his head, Longao said with a smile, at least my life is saved. Brother Zhou, thank you very much this time. You're welcome. You can stay here at ease. Pong. Before Zhou Hao could finish his words, the door was fiercely kicked open. Several fierce-looking youths walked in from outside. Seeing Zhou Hao, the youth walking in front sneered and said, Zhou Hao, I heard that you broke through to the 2nd celestial level? Zhou Tao, the son of Zhou Hao's second uncle, was also the one who bullied Zhou Hao the most. Every few days, he would come looking for trouble. However, Zhou Tao's cultivation had smoothly broken through to the post-celestial realm. Even if there were 10,000 Zhou Haos added together, they still wouldn't be Zhou Tao's opponent. Seeing Zhou Tao barge in, Zhou Hao's face instantly turned gloomy. How could he not know what Zhou Tao was trying to do? Since when had he broken through to the second heavenly layer? Zhou Tao was just looking for an excuse to humiliate him. Standing at the door, Longao only took a glance and already understood the general situation. This kind of thing had never happened before. In the past, he was also bullied every few days. If it wasn't for the dragon seal, he believed that he would still be a trash in the Long family, being bullied by everyone. Zhou Tao, don't go too far. Go too far? Ha ha ha. Although Long Ao had not recovered from his injuries, he still had some strength left in his body. A full 2 hours passed. Big Brother Black Wolf, I already know my situation. Brother Zhou, your situation is a little special. With a deep sigh, Zhou Hao felt hopeless. If it wasn't for his conviction, he would have chosen to give up after 10 years of perseverance. Looking at Zhou Hao's disappointed face, Long Ao smiled and said, Brother Zhou, I have a way to change your physique. According to my calculations, I can turn you into a transformation realm warrior in 10 days at most. Transformation realm? Zhou Hao was shocked because he didn't believe Long Ao's words at all. Even if he had just seen Long Ao's strength, he believed that no matter who it was, they wouldn't believe that he could make his cultivation break through the transformation realm within 10 days. Big Brother Black Wolf, what's wrong with my body? Zhou Hao really wanted to know what was wrong with his body. After all, his cultivation hadn't improved at all for 10 years. Until now, he still didn't know the reason. Blocked meridians. It's not a difficult problem. Zhou Hao smiled. Xiao Chong, I'll leave Brother Zhou's situation to you. I hope to see him break through the transformation realm in 10 days. Long Ao trusted Long Chong very much. As for Zhou Hao's situation, it was Long Chong who insisted on it, not him. After all, his injuries were there, and he was powerless to do anything. Big Brother, I have something to tell you. A black shadow flashed and Long Chong appeared. Long Chong had successfully broken through the Divine Emperor realm. Not only could he speak human language, but he could also transform into a human form. Long Chong's human form was also that of a young man. He had a tall and sturdy body and a resolute face, giving people a feeling that he was full of explosive power. What's the matter? Long Ao was very curious. He didn't know what Xiao Chong wanted to talk to him about. Big Brother, I want to talk to you alone. Zhou Hao knew very well that the one who attacked him was the one beside Black Wolf. He said, Big Brother Black Wolf, I have something to do. I'll leave for a while. I'll be back in half an hour. After Zhou Hao left, Long Chong couldn't wait and said, Big Brother, I just told you that Zhou Hao's blocked meridians is not man-made. It's a problem with his physique. A problem? A big problem. Zhou Hao's heart thumped. Long Ao had just promised Zhou Hao that he would help Zhou Hao break through the transformation realm in 10 days. But Long Chong's words seemed to be a little difficult. Long Chong chuckled and said, Big Brother, Zhou Hao's physique is a non-attribute physique. Non-attribute physique? What did that mean? Long Chong's words made Long Ao confused. He didn't know what non-attribute physique meant. Long Chong, what do you mean by non-attribute physique? Big Brother, non-attribute physique is 1 in a million. If a person with this physique doesn't meet a good teacher, he's basically a waste. Not to mention 8 to 10 years of cultivation. Even if he cultivated for 10,000 years, he still wouldn't be able to break through the second sky of the Hotian realm. According to you, Zhou Hao won't be able to break through the second sky of the Hotian realm in this lifetime. If that was the case, it would be a big problem. Big Brother, you don't have to worry about this. I just said that Zhou Hao's non-attribute physique won't be a waste if he meets me. Instead, he'll become a peerless physique. Zhou Hao's non-attribute physique can quickly absorb any kind of energy. Long Chong thought for a while and continued, Big Brother, I have a way that can help Zhou Hao break through the heavenly god realm in 3 days. As for whether he can break through the divine king realm or even beyond that, it'll depend on Zhou Hao himself. Long Ao was shocked. He had never thought that Longchang would have such a way to help Zhou Hao break through the first sky of the Hotian realm to the heavenly god realm in 3 days. What kind of concept was that? Hotian realm, Xiantian realm, transformation realm, nihility realm, illusionary divine realm, great emperor realm, divine realm. Chapter 1509. Breaking through 7 realms and countless realms consecutively. What kind of concept was that? Even though Longchang said it himself, Longao still found it hard to believe. Longchang, it's not wise to spoil things with excessive enthusiasm. If they were to forcefully increase Zhou Hao's strength, even without Longchang, even Longao could do it. They could just forcefully pour in endless energy. However, there would only be one result if they did that. Zhou Hao would explode and die. The chances of him surviving were almost zero. Big brother, it's impossible for normal people, but it's possible for someone with a non-elemental physique. What should we do? If Zhou Hao could really break through to the heavenly god realm from the postnatal realm in 3 days, it would be a great surprise. Big brother, you've killed a lot of divine beasts before. As long as you continue to pour soul energy into Zhou Hao's body and let me personally check, I believe there won't be any problems. Will there be any repercussions? There was no free lunch in the world. Even if Zhou Hao had a special physique, he wouldn't believe that there wouldn't be any repercussions for breaking through 7 realms consecutively in just 3 days. Yes, as expected, Longao had already decided that if the repercussions were serious, he couldn't let Zhou Hao accept it. Big brother, I don't need to say it. I believe you should know that even for someone with a non-elemental physique, it's almost impossible to break through 7 realms in just 3 days by forcefully devouring so much soul energy and soul energy. Nodding, Longao expressed his agreement. That's right, big brother. According to my guess, if nothing goes wrong, once Zhou Hao devours the endless soul energy and his realm soars, not only will it be difficult for him to cultivate in the future, he might even become a crippled person. Longao had already guessed the first point. If it was too easy in the beginning, it would be 100 or 1,000 times harder in the end. As for being crippled, it did scare Longao. He immediately asked, Xiao Chong, make it clear? Big brother, what I mean is very simple. Once we do that, Zhou Hao will not only lose an arm, but also. After thinking, Longchang said helplessly, as for the repercussions, I don't know. Could he agree? 1 arm. For a martial artist, this blow was really a little too great. An hour later, Brother Black Wolf, do you really have a way to help me break through to the Xiantian realm? Zhou Hao suddenly asked. Longao nodded helplessly. When do you have a solution? Brother Zhou, let me ask you first. Who is the strongest person in your Zhou clan? What's his cultivation? Without hiding anything, Zhou Hao replied, the strongest cultivator of our Zhou clan is my father, Zhou Tian, a man-god cultivator. He was just a human god. However, Longao knew very well that man-god martialists were considered experts among experts in Blackwater City. After all, the strongest expert in Blackwater City was only an emperor god martialist. Big brother Black Wolf, if you have something to say, just say it. Zhou Hao wasn't a fool. Looking at the hesitant Longao, he had already guessed that Longao definitely had something to say. Zhou Hao, do you want to reach your father's height? Big brother Black Wolf, what do you mean by that? Zhou Hao's heart skipped a beat. If he said that he didn't want to, he would definitely be lying. After all, what did his father's height mean? Zhou Hao was clear in his heart. Let alone him, he believed that his father's height was something that all martial artists dreamed of reaching. Could Big Brother Black Wolf have a solution? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Zhou Hao refused to believe it. For the past 10 years, everyone had been telling him that he was a piece of trash. After 10 years of cultivation and perseverance, he couldn't even reach the second heaven of Hotian state, let alone reach his father's height. Zhou Hao, I have a solution. Within 3 days, you can break through 7 cultivation states consecutively and reach the divine state. Not only can you reach your father's height, you can even surpass him and break through to the heavenly god state. Cough, 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 cough. Cough, cough, cough. Cough, 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 cough. As though he was shocked, Zhou Hao coughed continuously. After all, this was something that could shock the world. To be able to surpass his father in 3 days? Was this for real? Zhou Hao was clear that even with his father's talents, it took him a total of 60 years to reach where he was today. Comparing 3 days to 60 years was something that was unimaginable. Big Brother Black Wolf, is what you said for real? Longao was a little helpless. He had already guessed that Zhou Hao would be like this. No matter who heard this, they would have the same expression. Brother Zhou, don't be too happy yet. Even though I have a way to let you surpass your father's height within 3 days, you will have to pay a huge price. As for whether you are willing or not, you can decide for yourself. Big Brother Black Wolf, I would like to ask, what is the price that you were talking about? Zhou Hao instantly calmed down because he was very clear that there was no good thing in the world for no reason. After all, according to normal circumstances, not to mention breaking through 7 realms in 3 days and surpassing his father's height, even breaking through from the Hotian First Sky Realm to the Hotian Second Sky Realm was a very difficult thing. Once your cultivation base breaks through to the heavenly god state, your cultivation speed will be much slower than others in the future. But I am not worried about this, because I believe in your perseverance. 10 years of perseverance, just like himself. Would such a person choose to give up? Zhou Hao did not speak. He clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were filled with determination. Also, once you devour energy, you will lose an arm, because you have to find an outlet. Otherwise, your body will explode and you will die. As for the repercussions, even I do not know. At this point, Longao did not continue. He did not want to tell Zhou Hao at first, but after thinking about it, he felt that Zhou Hao's perseverance in the past 10 years had reached an unbelievable height. If such a person were to stay at the first heaven of Hotian state forever, he would not be able to bear it. The rest of the matter would depend on Zhou Hao's choice. For a moment, neither of them said anything. After an unknown period of time, Zhou Hao suddenly raised his head and said with determination, Big Brother Black Wolf, I am willing to accept. To be honest, I was born for the sake of martial arts. For the sake of martial arts, not to mention losing an arm, even if I lose my life, I will not hesitate. Longao was not surprised at all, because he had already guessed that Zhou Hao would be so difficult. If he was in Zhou Hao's shoes, then he would also choose to accept without hesitation. But even so, Longao still asked, Brother Zhou, have you really thought it through? Big Brother Black Wolf, I believe that with my perseverance and efforts, I will be able to go further in the future. Firstly, there was no need for him to make things difficult for the Zhou family. After all, he was just a passerby to the Zhou family. Secondly, because of Zhou Hao, it was impossible for him to deal with the Zhou family. Your Excellency, he waved his hand. Longao seemed to be very impatient and said, I just said that I don't have the slightest intention to be enemies with the Zhou clan. It's just that your precious little brother is looking for trouble. Don't provoke me otherwise. At this point, Longao did not continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Zhou Wencai's expression changed again and again. In the end, he still decided to leave. Without knowing the other party's identity, he was not willing to take risks. Once he made a mistake, not only him, but even the entire Zhou family would be in big trouble. Let's go. Sixth brother. Shut up. Seeing that his sixth brother was really angry, Zhou Tao did not dare to say anything more, although he was very dissatisfied and unhappy in his heart. Just as everyone was about to leave, Longao suddenly said, All of you, remember, from now on, no matter who it is, don't provoke Zhou Hao. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Not only you, but even the entire Zhou family will be in trouble. I'll remember it. Everyone did not continue to stay. One by one, they filed out. In a short while, everyone had disappeared without a trace. As for Longao, he did not put them in his eyes at all. Not to mention a metamorphosed human king. Even if a divine king or divine emperor came, he would not put them in his eyes. This time, not only did he not die after being swallowed by the spatial crack, he even got a blessing in disguise. He successfully broke through the fourth transformation of the 9-transformation reincarnation technique. Not only did he obtain the reincarnation heavenly eye, but his cultivation also broke through the bottleneck and successfully reached the hierarch realm. In other words, Longao was no longer a divine emperor martial artist, but a genuine divine venerable martial artist. Longao was very confident. As long as he recovered from his injuries, not to mention a hierarch, even an emperor god, he would not put them in his eyes. As for a Nirvana realm warrior, Longao roughly calculated that even if his cultivation broke through to the peak divine emperor realm, he would not be able to compete with a Nirvana realm warrior. Only by comprehending heaven and earth with his own cultivation base would he be able to gain a foothold on the martial heaven continent. Not far from the door. Sixth brother, are we just going to let this person go? This person obviously did not put our Zhou family in his eyes. If we just let him go, I'm not willing. Of course, Zhou Tao was not willing to give up so easily. After all, he was almost killed yesterday. It was not easy to get his sixth brother's help, but in the end, even his sixth brother did not dare to deal with this person. Was this true? Zhou Wensai's face was very ugly as he said coldly, "This person is not simple. Although I can't confirm his strength, we should not act rashly before we confirm his identity. I'll get someone to investigate his background later. If possible, I won't hold back." Since things had already come to this, even if Zhou Tao was unwilling, he could only choose to retreat. Just like that, Zhou Wenkai immediately began to investigate the other party's identity. After all, there were only so many families in Blackwater City. If the other party really had an identity, it would be easy to find out. If this person was not from Blackwater City, then things would be much easier because the 10-direction cauldron had made an agreement that no matter what, they would not enter Blackwater City. Moreover, Zhou Wenkai did not believe that this person was from the 10-direction cauldron. As for the other second-rate forces, would their disciples enter Blackwater City? Just like that, before Zhou Wenkai could confirm Longao's identity, he would definitely not act rashly. However, Longao came from the dragon sect in the 9 states continent, and no one knew his identity. If that was the case, it would be harder for Zhou Wenkai to find out his identity. Time passed quickly. Unknowingly, 3 days had passed. Zhou Hao also successfully came out of seclusion. His cultivation had broken through from the first heaven of the Hotian realm to the heavenly god realm. Chapter 1511. In a small, dilapidated courtyard. "Thank you, Master." "Master?" Longao was not used to this. He smiled and said, "Brother Zhou, we're fated to meet. There's no need for this. From now on, we're brothers." Looking at Black Wolf, Zhou Hao nodded in the end. "Big brother Black Wolf? All right." At this moment, Zhou Hao's aura was completely different. Although he had only lost an arm, he had successfully broken through to the god realm. To Zhou Hao, this was like a meat pie falling from the sky. Let alone losing an arm, if his cultivation could rapidly increase, he would not hesitate to lose both arms. As for the other after effects, even Zhou Hao didn't know about it. However, according to Long Chong's calculation, although Zhou Hao had a non-attribute physique, it was impossible to say that there were no after effects after devouring the power of dozens of mythological beasts. However, Long Chong was very confident that he could help Zhou Hao solve these so-called after effects. "Brother Zhou, although you've successfully broken through to the god realm, you still need to work harder. You need to work harder than others, understand? Big brother Black Wolf, don't worry. I definitely won't let you down." Longao still believed in Zhou Hao. How could someone who was so dedicated to the martial Tao and could persist for 10 years be lazy in cultivation? "Ha ha ha, Zhou Hao, I really didn't think that a piece of trash would try to trick me. Today, I'll definitely make you pay the price." At this moment, Zhou Tao and Zhou Wenkai rushed in with several dozen people. After 3 days of constant investigation, Zhou Wenkai was basically certain that the people Zhou Hao had found were not from Blackwater City, nor were they from any other organization. This way, even if they had some strength, wanting to oppose the entire Zhou family was simply like trying to smash an egg against a rock. They did not know the difference between life and death. "Zhou Tao, Zhou Wenkai, get out of here." You're not welcome here. As his strength skyrocketed, Zhou Hao's confidence also skyrocketed. If it was any other time, let alone Zhou Tao, just Zhou Wenkai alone probably would not dare to do this. This was because the more he resisted, the more he would be beaten up. The two of them didn't seem to be able to react because they never thought that Zhou Hao, who had always been trash, would actually dare to treat them like this. Could it be that he really had something to rely on? Ha ha ha. Zhou Hao, are you trying to rely on the trash behind you? Brother Zhou, remember one thing. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people want to offend you, you don't have to be polite. Otherwise, it will greatly affect your cultivation. Before Zhou Tao could finish, Longao had already interrupted him. Ignoring the two, Zhou Hao replied respectfully, "Understood, Big Brother Black Wolf. This is a matter between me and them. I hope to resolve it myself." After 6 days of recuperation, although Longao's injuries hadn't completely healed, he was able to use a small portion of his strength. It was more than enough to deal with the two of them. However, Longao wasn't prepared to make a move. Just as Zhou Hao had said, this was still the Zhou clan. Seeing Longao nod, Zhou Hao turned around and coldly looked at the two people in front of him. They could also be considered his brothers. Being stared at like this by Zhou Hao, no matter if it was Zhou Wenkai or Zhou Tao, they couldn't help but shiver in their hearts. But then the two of them thought, why should they be afraid of a trash? Could it be that they couldn't defeat a Hotian first sky martial artist? What a joke. The biggest joke in the world. The biggest joke in the world. If this matter were to spread out, where would their face go? Courting death. Although Zhou Tao was very afraid of Longao, he didn't put Zhou Hao in his eyes. It was still the same sentence. Zhou Hao was publicly recognized as trash. Not to mention a Xintian martial artist. Any random person could casually defeat Zhou Hao. This was Zhou Hao's strength. It was precisely because of this that Zhou Tao had full confidence. Not to mention attacking with all his strength. He only needed to move his finger, and he could easily deal with Zhou Hao. When the time came, how to humiliate Zhou Hao would be his own business. The result? Just when Zhou Tao was full of confidence, before he could react, his whole body was ruthlessly hit by Zhou Hao. His body flew out upside down, like a kite with a broken string, falling from midair and fiercely smashing into the ground. If Zhou Wenkai hadn't caught Zhou Tao in time, whether Zhou Tao lived or died was really unknown. In the end, Zhou Hao didn't kill him. No matter what, he and Zhou Tao were members of the Zhou family. Once he killed Zhou Tao, not to mention the others, just his own father, how could he face him? This time, Zhou Wenkai and the others were completely dumbfounded. One by one, they stared blankly at Zhou Hao who had just attacked. This was Zhou Hao? Was this still the trash that was bullied by everyone? Defeating Zhou Tao in one move, this kind of strength, even if it was himself, he was afraid that he couldn't do it so quickly. Could it be that Zhou Hao's cultivation had already surpassed his? Impossible. This was impossible. Zhou Wenkai really didn't want to believe it. Even if Zhou Hao had already gotten rid of the title of trash, even if Zhou Hao's cultivation talent was extraordinary, and he was a one-in-a-million genius, it was impossible for him to directly advance from the first sky of the Hotian realm to the point where he could defeat his own brother in one move in just a few days. Not to mention himself, no matter who it was, they wouldn't choose to believe it. Even if it was Zhou Wenkai, if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Trash? Genius? Looking at Zhou Hao who was close by, Zhou Wenkai was shocked because he never thought that Zhou Wencai's speed would be so fast. He didn't dare to be careless, and directly punched out, while Zhou Hao also punched out. The two fists collided, and Zhou Wencai's body was also sent flying, but Zhou Hao still didn't kill him. Get lost. Taking a few steps back, Zhou Wenkai looked at Zhou Hao in front of him in shock. His trash younger brother had grown to such a powerful extent in just a few days. It was unbelievable, even more unimaginable. He didn't dare to stay in the slightest. Under such circumstances, face was no longer a consideration, because Zhou Wenkai was very clear that if he stayed for one more minute, he believed that Zhou Hao would kill him. Looking at the gradually disappearing figures, Zhou Hao finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although his cultivation had smoothly broken through to the heavenly god realm, this battle was only his first battle. Thank you, Big Brother Black Wolf, for your help. Zhou Hao knew that the reason he could have today's strength was all because of the young man in front of him. Otherwise, he would still be a trash who was bullied by everyone. An arm in exchange for the strength of a heavenly god. In Zhou Hao's opinion, this trade was worth it. Moreover, he had already guessed that this Big Brother Black Wolf in front of him was definitely not an ordinary person. Could it be that Big Brother Black Wolf was a supreme divine expert? Although he felt that this was a little unlikely, Zhou Hao believed in his own intuition. A supreme divine expert, even in Blackwater City, was a super powerhouse. If his family could have a supreme divine expert, then his family's status would immediately rise. Even if they couldn't dominate Blackwater City, at least they wouldn't continue to be at the bottom. Brother Zhou, although your cultivation has already broken through to the heavenly god realm, if you encounter a cultivator of the same level, it will be very difficult for you to win. Big Brother Black Wolf, then what should I do? Of course Zhou Hao didn't want to be like this, and since Big Brother Black Wolf was like this, then there was no doubt that Big Brother Black Wolf had a way to help him. Chapter 15:12. Brother Zhou, I will now teach you a cultivation technique and 2 martial skills. Cultivation technique and martial skills? He was overjoyed. Warriors, other than their own realm, the most important thing was martial skills and cultivation techniques. Thank you, Big Brother Black Wolf. The cultivation technique is called Emperor Dragon Technique. As for the 2 martial skills, they are Destruction Seal and Emperor Dragon's 9 kills. Whether it was Destruction Seal or Emperor Dragon's 9 kills, they were Longao's guard martial skills. For Longao to be able to teach these 2 martial skills to Zhou Hao, it was enough to see how Longao treated Zhou Hao. Firstly, Zhou Hao had saved him. Secondly, Zhou Hao's dedication to martial arts, especially his 10 years of persistence, was what he valued the most. In the following time, Longao taught the cultivation technique and martial skills with all his might. Zhou Hao also wholeheartedly immersed himself in cultivation. The news of Zhou Hao defeating Zhou Wankai in one move had already spread throughout the Zhou family. Trash becoming a genius, and even a Nihility Realm warrior. No one who heard the news chose to believe it. 10 years of trash, in just a few days became a Nihility Realm warrior? According to the rumors, it was said that Zhou Hao was able to become a Nihility Realm warrior with the help of a mysterious youth. The Zhou family's Zhou Tian, who was Zhou Hao's father, knew that things were not that simple. After all, as his father, he was the clearest about his son's situation. To be able to help his son, in just a few days, from the first sky of the Hotian realm to the Nihility realm, the other party's strength was already indescribable. He could not neglect. Zhou Tian was afraid of disturbing the mysterious expert, so he only brought 6 elders, 2 spirit-focused realm warriors, and 4 Nihility realm warriors. This was also the Zhou family's most powerful force. Zhou family's patriarch Zhou Tian greets Sr. The 7 of them had just stepped into the courtyard when they saw the youth sitting on the stone bench. Dressed in black, with a head of blood-red hair, his resolute face was filled with determination. His entire person seemed to be enveloped by an invisible current. Even the 7 of them could not see his strength. He was startled. Under such circumstances, the 7 of them could almost be sure that the youth in front of them was not an ordinary person. Could he be a divine path warrior? Or was it a supreme Tao warrior? Peerless divine Tao, it was impossible. The young man in front of them might be a heavenly god realm cultivator. If that was the case, it would be great news for the Zhou clan. Father. Zhou Hao was a little surprised to see his father and 6 other elders. Casually nodding his head, Longao said indifferently, Patriarch Zhou, please take a seat. Please. Zhou Tian sat down. The 6 elders behind him seemed to be in a bad mood. As the elders of the Zhou family, they were all supreme Tao martial artists. Even in Blackwater City, they were also lofty existences. When had they ever been disregarded like this? Longao did not care, because in his eyes, deity Tao martial artists were no different from ants. As for Zhou Tian, Longao didn't choose him because of his status, but because he was Zhou Hao's father. He gave the 6 of them a look, and they had no choice but to endure it. Still the same words, until now, they still didn't know who the other party was. Once they provoked someone they shouldn't provoke, wouldn't they be looking for trouble for themselves? The 6 of them were all old foxes. To be able to help Zhou Hao break through so many realms in just a few days, the young man was definitely not simple. Caution is the parent of safety. How should I address you? Black Wolf. Black Wolf? There was no such person in Blackwater City. Hearing the other party's name, Zhou Tian could almost be sure that the other party was not from Blackwater City, but from outside. Could it be the 10 Direction tripod? It was a little unlikely. After all, 1,000 years ago, the 10 Direction tripod had made an agreement that no matter what happened, they would not enter Blackwater City. For 1,000 years, no 10 Direction tripod disciple had come to Blackwater City. Father, this is Big Brother Black Wolf. Thanks to Big Brother Black Wolf's help, your son's strength could soar this time. Thank you, Mr. Black Wolf, for helping my son. You're welcome. Brother Zhou and I hit it off. Zhou Tian couldn't confirm the other party's identity or strength. This made him feel a little helpless because the other party's strength directly determined his attitude, and also the attitude of the entire family. However, Zhou Tian could be sure of one thing, and that was that his son's strength had soared. From now on, Zhou Hao was not only not a good-for-nothing, he might even become a genius of the Zhou family. Mr. Black Wolf, you rest first. I have something to discuss with Hao. Go ahead. Longao knew very well why Zhou Tian was looking for Zhou Hao, so it didn't matter. Longao slowly closed his eyes and closed them, basking in the sunlight. Zhou Hao gave his father a look and carefully left with him. After a while, everyone had disappeared without a trace. Opening his eyes, Longao smiled helplessly, then closed his eyes again as if he had fallen asleep. Zhou family, main hall. Hao, tell your father honestly. What level of cultivation have you reached right now? Even now, the 7 of them still found it rather hard to believe that Zhou Hao had actually broken through to the nothingness realm. After all, this was just too unbelievable. Let alone hearsay, even if they had seen it with their own eyes, they might not have believed it. Should he tell the truth? Black Wolf looked to be in his early 20s at most. Even if he was the #1 genius of Blackwater City, he would only be able to reach the Void Realm at most. Patriarch, the most important thing now is to keep this person here. I know that, but this person is very indifferent to our Zhou clan. Hearing this, the 6 of them laughed. Patriarch, it doesn't matter whether Black Wolf is interested in our Zhou clan or not. The most important thing is that Black Wolf values Hao a lot. In this way, we can keep this person here. Zhou Tian remained silent because what the 6 of them said was exactly what he meant. No matter what this person's strength is, this divine ability alone is enough to look down on the world. If we can use this divine ability to create a few more Supreme Divine Tao warriors, it will undoubtedly be a great thing for our Zhou clan. Ever since they knew about Longao's matter, the entire Zhou clan's attitude towards Zhou Hao had taken a 180-degree turn. Whether it was Black Wolf's deterrence or Zhou Hao's current strength, it was enough for the Zhou clan to pay attention to him. Zhou Hao's cultivation had already reached the Supreme Divine Tao realm. This news was like a bomb that was ruthlessly thrown into the Zhou clan, causing a huge commotion. As for Zhou Tian and the other 6, Zhou Hao said that his cultivation had already reached the Supreme Divine Tao realm. In the eyes of the 7 of them, they would never have thought that Zhou Tian's cultivation could reach the Heavenly God realm. After all, this was a little unbelievable. The 7 of them unanimously thought that Zhou Hao had just reached the Supreme Divine Tao realm, which was the so-called Empty God realm. The 5 realms of the Supreme Divine Tao realm. In order of strength, they were the Empty God realm, Spirit Focus realm, Human God realm, Earth God realm, and Heavenly God realm. The difference of one realm was like 108,000 miles. The #1 expert of the Zhou clan, the patriarch of the Zhou clan, was only at the peak Human God realm. If the 7 of them knew that Zhou Hao's cultivation was not at the Empty God realm, but at the peak Heavenly God realm, the 7 of them might be scared to death. Ever since the news of Zhou Hao's breakthrough to the Supreme Divine Tao realm spread, the small courtyard was directly listed as a forbidden area of the Zhou clan. No matter who it was, no one was allowed to enter without permission. Those who disobeyed would be killed without mercy. Zhou Hao's status skyrocketed, causing everyone to be a little uncomfortable, especially Zhou Tao and Zhou Wangkai. The two of them knew very well that they could not seek revenge on Zhou Hao. Otherwise, they would be digging their own graves. With no one to disturb him, Zhou Hao wholeheartedly cultivated his cultivation method and martial skills. However, just as Long Chong said, Zhou Hao had forcefully devoured the divine beast's energy. Although his cultivation had directly broken through from the acquired realm to the heavenly god realm in just 3 days, it was as difficult as ascending the heavens to continue to break through. Even if it was cultivation method and martial skills, it was 100 times more difficult for Zhou Hao than others. If it were others, they would have chosen to give up long ago. Only Zhou Hao was a person who was obsessed with martial skills, a person who would never give up. Just like that, Long Chong temporarily settled down in the Zhou clan. He guided Zhou Hao in his cultivation while recovering from his injuries. In the blink of an eye, 14 days passed quietly. Calculating the time, it had been half a month since Long Chong fell into the Zhou clan. After recuperating, Long Chong's injuries had recovered by 60%, which was faster than expected. Long Chong was very clear about the condition of his body. At most, he would be able to recover to his best state in 10 days. This time, he was swallowed by the space crack and was attacked by Yi Warren. Even if he recovered, he was afraid that there would be some backlash. As for how severe it would be, he still did not know. The news that Long Chong had helped Zhou Hao break through from the acquired realm to the Divine Wei realm in just a few days was directly blocked by the Zhou clan. However, this matter was too unbelievable. Even if they wanted to block it, it was still a little difficult. There was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in the world. Moreover, it was impossible for such a big Zhou clan to block it completely. It was simply unrealistic. Precisely because of this, 14 days later, the news that Black Wolf had helped Zhou Hao break through to the Divine Wei realm still spread out. It spread throughout the entire Blackwater City, causing everyone in the city to know about it. Chapter 15-14. Zhou Hao. Zhou family's trash, Blackwater City's #1 trash. He persisted for 10 years, but couldn't even break through the second sky of the acquired realm. What did that mean? Almost everyone in Blackwater City thought that Zhou Hao couldn't even break through the second sky of the acquired realm in his lifetime. But the result? In just a few days, Zhou Hao broke through to the Supreme Tao realm from the first sky of the acquired realm. 99% of the people chose not to believe it. Blackwater City. Qin family and Wang family were the overlords of Blackwater City. No one dared to offend them. Qin family's patriarch Qin Xuan and Wang family's patriarch Wang Jian were both peak emperor god warriors. They were only one step away from breaking through to the Nirvana realm. It could be said that they were the strongest warriors in Blackwater City. They could cover the sky with one hand. No matter if it was Qin family or Wang family, both families were extremely shocked when they received the news of Zhou Hao breaking through to the Supreme Tao realm. Both families came to Zhou family at the same time. Qin Xuan and Wang Jian looked at each other. The two old foxes sneered in their hearts. How could they not know the purpose of each other's visit? Brother Qin, we'll split Black Wolf's supernatural power. How about that? I have the same idea. When the sandpiper and the clam fight, the fisherman benefits. The two of them instantly came to an agreement because they were very clear that once the two clans started a war over He Lang's divine ability, it would only cause both clans to suffer losses. At that time, it would only give others an opportunity to take advantage of the situation. Zhou family. In the main hall, Zhou Tian and the others were surprised when they heard that the patriarch of Qin family and Wang family had come. However, it was within their expectations. It was impossible for the two families not to be alarmed by such supernatural power. The 7 of them just didn't expect the two families to come so quickly. Patriarchs, please excuse me for not coming out to greet you. Ha ha ha, Brother Zhou, don't be so polite. We came this time because we have something to trouble you. Normally, The two of them wouldn't even put Zhou Tian in their eyes. They were both family heads, but the difference in status between them was like heaven and earth. They were not on the same level. Zhou Tian smiled helplessly in his heart and scolded them fiercely. If it wasn't for Black Wolf, would the two of them be so polite to him? Patriarchs, what do you need me to do for you? No matter what it is, as long as I can do it, I will do it. The two of them seemed very satisfied with Zhou Tian's attitude. Getting straight to the point, the two of them did not beat around the bush at all. They had a look of superiority on their faces. Chapter 15:15. No. No? Qin Xuan and Wang Jin's faces darkened when they heard that Black Wolf was not going to meet them. Who were the two of them? One was the patriarch of the Wang clan, and the other was the patriarch of the Qin clan. The two of them were the overlords of Blackwater City, and they were also the strongest warriors in Blackwater City. With their identities, they had come personally, but Black Wolf refused to meet them. What was the meaning of this? Black Wolf had made it clear that he did not care about the two of them. Patriarchs, Mr. Black Wolf is injured. We should not disturb Mr. Black Wolf. We'll come again another day. Come again another day? Where was their dignity? The two of them looked at each other and saw a trace of anger in each other's eyes. If they left like this, the consequences would be unimaginable. Zhou Hao, please inform him that the Wang clan and the Qin clan are here to meet him. If it was any other time, the two of them would not even say a word to Zhou Hao. They were in a dilemma. Black Wolf had already said that he was not going to meet them. If they continued to inform him, wouldn't it be unnecessary? He did not move. However, seeing that his son did not move at all, Zhou Tian was somewhat worried. After all, the two people in front of him were the absolute overlords of Blackwater City. Once they were angered, not only Zhou Hao and He Lang, but even Zhou Tian and his family would be in great trouble. Patriarchs, Black Wolf has already said that he is not going to meet you. Good. The two of them did not expect that even a small Zhou Hao would dare to speak to them like this. He was simply looking down on them. Even if Zhou Hao's cultivation had skyrocketed, he was still a small divine realm warrior. In front of the two of them, Zhou Hao was still an ant. Zhou Tian also did not expect his son to be so domineering. Could it be that his son really had something to rely on? Even so, Zhou Tian was still a little worried. He only hoped that the two clans would be wary of Black Wolf and would not casually make a move. Wang Jin said good 3 times, emitting a trace of killing intent. Patriarchs. He waved his hand. Without giving Zhou Tian a chance to speak, Wang Jin said, Zhou Hao, I'm giving you one last chance. Go in and tell Black Wolf that the Wangs and the Qins want to see him. The two of them were really angry. Black Wolf didn't even give them face. No matter what, they had to meet this Mr. Black Wolf today. No, Zhou Hao was not afraid at all. He still only said 2 words, I won't see you. This time, whether it was the two of them or Zhou Tian, they were completely shocked. Qin Xuan sneered and said, Zhou Hao, don't think that you can look down on everyone just because your cultivation has broken through to the divine Dao realm. Do you know who you are talking to? Zhou Hao didn't say anything, but he didn't have the slightest intention of moving. Father, I know what I should do and what I shouldn't do. Since his son had already said so, what else could Zhou Tian say? If you don't teach this junior a lesson, I'm afraid the order of Blackwater City will fall into chaos. Hearing Qin Xuan's words, Zhou Tian was shocked. Before Zhou Tian could say anything, the tightly shut door slowly opened. Longao lazily walked out from the courtyard. Brother Black Wolf. It's okay. You are Black Wolf? Looking at such a young man in front of them, both Wang Jin and Qin Xuan were very surprised. They were also very sure that such a young man would at most be in the divine Dao realm. They didn't believe that Black Wolf was the so-called supreme divine Dao warrior. If so, they didn't have the slightest fear. So what if I am? So what if I'm not? Arrogant. Zhou Tian also didn't expect Black Wolf to be so arrogant. After all, this was the Zhou clan. Once both sides attacked, the clan would be the first to suffer. Black Wolf, please. I'm not free. Wang Jian and Qin Chuan couldn't take it lying down after being humiliated by the other party. However, for the sake of the divine ability, the two of them still forcefully endured it. Qin Chuan smiled and said, "Mr. Black Wolf, I heard that because of your help, nephew Zhou Hao, who had always been unable to break through, actually directly advanced to the divine Dao realm in a short few days. The two of us really want to know what method you used exactly?" Just as expected, the two patriarchs of the two great clans came at the same time. Longao had already guessed that if it was 3 days ago, he might be afraid of them. However, his injuries had already recovered by 70%. If he joined forces with Long Chong, there was no doubt that it was more than enough to deal with two divine Emperor Realm warriors. If it was an ordinary divine Venerable Realm warrior, it would be impossible for him to fight against a divine Emperor Realm warrior. After all, the difference of one level was like 108,000 miles. It was like an insurmountable gap. However, Longao's situation was completely different. Although Longao was only in the divine Venerable Realm, with various divine arts and various trump cards, Longao was confident that he could even fight and kill a divine Emperor Realm warrior. This was the confidence brought by strength. "Why should I tell you my method? I have something to do now. You can leave. Otherwise..." Longao did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. "Black Wolf, do you know who we are?" One was the patriarch of the Wang clan, and the other was the patriarch of the Qin clan. Both of them were famous super figures in Blackwater City. No matter where they went, they were known by everyone. In their opinion, they had already shown enough respect to Black Wolf by coming to the Zhou clan.